across the plains. Hope rekindles in the crimson tide as freedom's anthem calls our names. Great again, we rise as one, under stars that guide our way. A song of promise has begun, and strength returns in light of day. Fields of dreams are ripe once more. Factories hum with honest pride. Our banner waves on every shore, with courage marching by our side. Great again, we rise as one, under stars that guide our way. A song of promise has begun, and strength returns in light of day. Through trials dark, we found our steel. The eagle's cry breaks through the night. In unity, our wounds now heal. We chase the dawn with fearless light. Great again, we rise as one, under stars that guide our way. A song of promise has begun, and strength returns in light of day.
All right, how's everybody doing this week? How's everybody doing? What's going on? What's up, Jimmy? My brother from the same mother. Let's go. Commander, good to see you, brother. Hello there. Hey, what's up, Pam? How you doing? How you feeling, by the way? All right, what's up, Dr. Jade? What do you got going on for us?
Oh, geez. You know, just more of the same. Average week, you know?
I'm going to trash a tonight, not right now, but later on, I'm going to completely trash a phone carrier for what they put me through this week.
Good.
For hours on end. Yeah.
Good. I want to hear it.
Oh, man. And you know what? Nah, I don't even want to get into it yet, but I will. But let's see who else is here. Anybody else here yet? Yeah. We should wait till more come in. Well, I'm going to go over, got another big week, man. A lot of stories. The big takeaways is Fauci's in trouble again. DSA didn't do as great as they thought they were going to do. Let me go over. I'll do what I always do. I'll just go over the headache's okay. Sure. Hope it feels better. Let me see. Browser has blocked your screen. Click the screen icon. What? I have no idea what that means. All right. So I'm going to go over what we're going to do. The main stories. Uh-oh. Something's going on.
What's going on? What's going on?
My screen is going absolutely nuts.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh is right. Hang on. Oh, that's kind of crazy. All right, it stopped. Wow. Don't know why it did that. Let me cancel that. Holy mackerel. That was not good. All right, so that was crazy, man. I don't know what the hell was going on. Okay, so let me make it a little bigger. So the main stories. A Walmart rant for the ages. Tell me I'm wrong, he says. All right, that's a good one. Now, Steve Bannon from War Room, he's warning Republicans are effing up the fight against the Marxist Dems again. Yeah, because the Marxist Dems are they're very coordinated. They are trying to take over the Democratic Party, and the Democrats are only talking now. They're not doing anything to stop them. I mean, as far as sickening and as dark as those people are, you think they would be a little harder on the Marxists trying to take over the party. I think they're afraid. Is American urban culture beyond repair? We'll find out. A big story. Luigi Mangione, he pled guilty. Complete, total turnaround. He pled guilty. How about that? And I always thought he was anyway because I had all the evidence. But, you know, you got to wait. From Morning Greatness, White House launches interactive map tracking billions in suspected fraud. That's great. You know, come to Minneapolis. We have a great crap. That'd be great. Non-citizens have been arrested for voting illegally in 2024 election in Michigan. It's always the Muslims that are behind this crap. The Somalis did all the fraud in Minnesota, and now they got all these election fraud problems going on in Michigan. All right, Minnesota Supreme Court upholds absentee ballot requirements, and Democrats are not happy about it. Well, TS, right? Abdul El Said under fire for running dog slaughterhouse during his tenure at Detroit's Animal Control Agency. They love the libnuts. I had an argument with one last night on Facebook. They're like, yeah, well, he's a medical doctor. I'm like, is he really? You're like, yeah, he graduated. I'm like, yeah, he did, but he's never waited on a single patient. He's never gotten licensed. He doesn't do any of that. Why did he do that? Why? Because he didn't want to do the job. He just probably wanted to keep his parents happy, so he went to college. I don't know, because I would use it if I had a degree and I was a doctor and I passed. JD Vance calls on DOJ to prosecute alleged fraud in teen transgender treatment. That's going to be a big one. We have an election integrity win. The federal appeals court restores Texas's mail-in ballot ID requirements. That's the state legislature's allowed to do that. Federal grand jury indicts 11 in massive 100,000 per couple marriage fraud scheme. So this is the week of fraud coming out. They're like, the fraud's all out. No. Can't imagine how many more billions of dollars that we don't even know about yet. There we go. Exclusive. Owner of suspiciously vacant adult daycare billed Medicaid $32 million while donating to Kathy Hochul and other Democrats. Uh-oh.
Hey, listen, Rich, you're talking about fraud in Somalis. I've got a Betty Johnson short that is really it's a lot of fun.
Okay, we'll get into that.
Let me know when you want me to.
Yeah, absolutely. And remind me if I get too much into this. Another exclusive. Treasury IDs nearly $5 billion in bank transactions linked to suspected human smuggling, with 62% dip after Trump's election. So what does that tell you? It tells you the last administration was allowing it and closing their eyes to it. So Dems and Republicans unite behind a common enemy. Flock cameras that are documenting everybody all the time. They're big now. So people finally went, what's that? You know, and they had it explained to them. Now they're like, I don't like that. Yeah, all right. Kremlin, get this. The Kremlin ordered a hit on a U.S. citizen in Europe, and Poland foiled it just in time. That's kind of crazy. The Kremlin ordered a hit on a U.S. citizen in a foreign country. All right. Transgender American who fled the country over Trump admits it was a dumb move. That's what's funny, man. All these, there were a bunch of libnuts, you know, I'm going to leave the country. Well, they did. And there's two women that are married, I think. And they went to Canada, to China, and they found out quick they weren't allowed to use their health system. They weren't allowed to use anything. They couldn't get on welfare. They couldn't get a job because they didn't prepare anything right. So they were living off their savings. They're like, oh my God, they're crying, whining. So I wrote in the comments, are you going to come back? Please don't. So Stop. This is Schlichter. Stop dooming. We're on the cusp of the golden age. And he's right. When we read it, you'll see. America is about to slide into that golden age. All the shit that we've been living with so far, half of it caused because Iran doesn't know they had their ass kicked yet, and they keep trying to push the needle on their Islamo-fascism, right? And then the other half is the libnuts get judges to screw everything Trump wants to do up, but we're winning those back too. John Nolte from Breitbart, my favorite writer there. 52% of Gen Z morons have moved money from investments to sports betting.
Well, that's a good way to save.
Yeah. Sports betting. Okay. The DSA's success has many facets, but it's all built on one frightening fact. There you go. Welcome to the blackout, California. We're going to have more blackouts. Boom. Judges give Americans a pair of election integrity wins. That's what I want to hear. Pelosi throws Biden team under the bus, but her own words come back to haunt her. Yeah. He was very cogent. He was 2.0. He was the best Biden I've ever seen. Then she throws him under the bus. Yeah, okay. I think Scott Jennings is going to replace Caroline Leavitt. He's
that's what they were talking about.
He's so far the top choice, but I don't know. They may want to go with a woman. Again, I don't know. When's the last time a man had that job? I think it was Trump's first term. The guy that's now on
the other one
Newsmax.
The other one that's in the running is her deputy.
Right. Scott Jennings. Oh, would I love to see that. Scott Jennings hilariously drops Abdul El Said and his football challenge with a single GIF file. Okay. Men need purpose at work. Here's the advice I'm giving my daughter. Florida's secret sauce revealed. Crime crashes, illegals out, and America's safest big state in 2026. That's why a lot of people are saying that if DeSantis runs, he may cause problems for MAGA. He may cause problems. Erica Kirk's comment on wisdom versus knowledge exposes America's blind spot. This broad. Oh, I did a story and a video about her, but through AOC. That's Hong. Did Wisconsin's primary reveal a huge problem for Democrats in November? Yes, because you have Francesca Hong is a DSA. She's a commie, okay? And AOC and others in the squad were out there doing interviews trying to cover for the DSA people. And her job was to cover, I did a video on it, was to cover for Francesca Hong. And she was saying things like he said, well, she wants to abolish the Supreme Court. Oh, yeah, well, she turned around on that. And I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, she turned around on it. Yeah, okay. Until she wins, and then she's back into it, right? Like we're supposed to believe that? Horse shit. So tired of winning it? Here are more patriotic victories to wear you out. Yeah, this is what we got to do, guys. We got to start telling MAGA people that, look, you're not alone. You're kind of pissed at what's going on too, but there's a whole lot of wins that nobody's chalking up. I mean, a lot of wins. So here we go. Don't believe the left's woke pullback. That's what I was just talking about. Oh, yeah, well, she pulled back from that. Bullshit. She did not. She's lying about it. That's what she's doing. The Dems' great white hope, there you go, just got humiliated in Michigan. Here we go. When privilege turns against America, there you go. That's the shithole. Those neighborhoods. Sorry, media, but it's not the job of the Secret Service to protect you. Do you know what that's about, Jade?
Oh, yeah. I heard.
Yeah. All right, we'll get into it. The doomers can't, and you know what? Let me just say this much about it. All right. The thing with Turkey, there was a credible threat against the president, and so they wheeled his ass out because that's what the Secret Service does. But they let the cabinet and the reporters fly back on Air Force One. So they're all saying, "Oh my God, they took the president off. There's no security on that." Like Pete Hegseth, I hate to break it to him, but the Secret Service does not do security for Air Force One. They do not. That's not their responsibility. Their responsibility is the president. Okay. Air Force One falls under the Air Force. That's why it's called Air Force One, right? The military takes care of that. And so if they think that Pete Hegseth's going to go, yeah, let's cancel all those security measures. POTUS isn't on there. Bullshit. Come on. But libnuts are stupid. So this is why they come up with these theories. The doomers can't deny Trump's big wins. It's more wins we're going to talk about. CCP intelligence official trained as a sniper, buys a building 650 feet from the White House. Let me repeat that. Communist Chinese Party intelligence officer trained as a sniper bought a building only 650 feet from. I'm surprised they let a building 650 feet from the White House. That's kind of weird, don't you think? What could go wrong?
Yeah, really.
Online sports gambling companies are buying state elections. That's an interesting one. There we go. Democrats want ID for Hot Pockets, but not for voting. I didn't read it, but I'm like, wait a minute. ID for Hot Pot? Really? Second Amendment win. Los Angeles County throws in the towel, agrees to stop dragging feet on concealed carry permits. We'll see crime go down. Because when these animals on the streets, when they go, you know what, I jumped that guy, he may have a gun, I don't even fucking know it. So screw that, I ain't going to do it. I'm going to get a job. That's not going to happen, but you know what I mean. Trump celebrates big win in the tariff exemption case. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Trump housing director Bill Pulte launches probe into Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac's Sharia law home financing. Can you believe this shit? This was under Biden, maybe even Obama, but wasn't under Trump. They're doing Sharia law home financing. No.
I'm not sure I know what that means, but I'm sure we'll find out.
Yeah, we're going to read it. Well, probably there's rules in there in Sharia law on how you do financing for a home.
I guess. Yeah,
it has to be. Right? Because Sharia law is not just a religious thing. It's everything about their lives. And it's bullshit. D.C. Circuit greenlights Trump's deportation of paroled migrants. Yay. D.C. Circuit greenlights Trump's. Oh, did I do that twice? Oh, no, it's the second one. Meet the 5 woke clergy members running to bring far-left politics to Congress. The feds bust New York City fraud scheme that engineered hundreds of sham marriages between Americans and Chinese nationals, probably so that they can have babies, so that they can then take off and claim that the baby's an American citizen, all that bullshit, right? All right, so we'll get into all that and more. Let me see who else is here. Anglo, what's going on, man? Good to see you, brother. Hey, 42's here. Guys, 42, his address. I know all you guys know who the man is, right? But everybody who's watching after the stream, or if you're new here, welcome. 42 is the Ulster Poet Patriot. He's a guy, he's from Northern Ireland. I watch him every Saturday. Except last Saturday because I had to work. He does poetry, but it's cool. It doesn't bore you. And it's all about the UK, mostly about the UK, Northern Ireland. And he does videos for it, and he tells stories each week. And he's just a fascinating guy because I learn something every week that I watch his show. So you watch his show as well. It is on, it's Saturday nights. I'm going to give you Eastern time, 5:30 Eastern time, Saturday nights. And we also have in the same, well, her link is Courage is the Cure. It's Robin. And she hails from Australia. And she is very big into privacy laws and how the government's breaking them. And also how her government in Australia is overstepping their bounds. She's kind of like the three of us together, right? So we're 3 pods, right? So do me a favor, check out their live streams. And she does a stream like every day, I think. Like she's the hardest working woman I know on doing online stuff. And she's totally, she takes no money from YouTube or from Rumble or anything. She's totally crowdsourced, which is cool. And let's see, yeah, 42 is your brother. For real? In real life? 40, is that true? That's interesting. Or are you saying brother like I call you brother? Yeah, I don't know. But okay. So, hey, what's up, Linda? Good to see you. Thanks for coming. Yeah, anybody else here who's new but you're not chiming in yet? Welcome. We love you. Thanks for being here. All right. What do you want to start on? Let's start from the top. So, not that I do that one. All right, Bannon warning the Republicans. Let's do that. This is from Revolver. He said Republicans are effing up the fight against Marxist Dems, and he's right. So how do I get rid of that? Okay, I want to see if there's a video so I don't have to read all that because it's always better. Let's see. What's this? Let's see who this is.
I'm sure you've all seen this guy who was just nominated by the Democrats to represent them in Michigan for the United States Senate. He is a socialist backed by AOC, Bernie Sanders, Mondami. As a matter of fact, He is Michigan's Mondani.
Yeah.
Not only that, his best friend Piker and him believe that America deserved 9/11.
Yep.
I don't care where you are. That should be scary for anybody.
Right.
That's where we're at in this country, and that's where the Democrats have gone with their candidates. This is scary times. We have to come together as a party, as a country, and make sure this guy gets nowhere near the U.S. Senate in November. El Sayed supports Hamas, and he will support Palestine over Americans. Join us as we fight for Mike Rogers, who's an FBI agent, who is literally an expert in foreign intelligence.
Wasn't he one of the ones that was shafted by the Biden administration for being a whistleblower?
Who's that?
Mike Rogers, not him. He's talking about Mike Rogers, who's running up in Michigan. I think he was the one that, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he was the one that pointed out that the way the Biden administration screwed whistleblowers. Remember how under Trump, whistleblowers are everything, they're virtuous, right? Even though they didn't have a real whistleblower. But Mike Rogers, I think it was Rogers, where he pointed out that what they do is they put you on leave indefinitely until your contract's up. You sign a contract, and your contract says while you're under contract with the FBI, you're not allowed to work another job. So you're not being paid because you're put on leave without pay. So if you've got 2 years back on your contract, I mean, you got to go to court for that. If you're 2 years still on your contract and you're not being paid and you're not allowed to take another job, what do you do for your family? All right.
And he was going to fight for Michigan every day. Go to RogersForSenate.com. We cannot let this guy win.
That's exactly right. So let's go back to here. So I want to see where is he? Yeah, here he is. All right.
And I don't need a bunch of Republicans pouring in here. Oh, we're going to run against socialism. If you run just against socialism, you're going to get your ass kicked.
Right.
Okay. Like President Trump sits and goes, hey, I see him on TV and they're offering free rent. Who doesn't want that? What's your counter to people under 30 right now for free rent?
Right.
Oh, here's a copy of Milton Friedman. Just read it. Get Steve Moore up there and Larry Kudlow. Right. And Arthur Laffer. We're going to hit him with Milton Friedman. It ain't going to work.
No, it ain't.
What's going to work is expose the Marxist jihadist alliance that is taking over this country. And this is why I've preached the gospel. The enemies of this country, yes, they're in downtown Tehran, but that's marginalia. The enemies of this country are inside the gate, and they're in places like Midtown Manhattan and Minneapolis and Chicago.
Yep.
You saw it last night.
Texas, even.
You saw it last night.
Except the Texans are keeping their asses in line.
The moderates in the Democratic Party beat the progressives. The whole Democratic Party's bought and paid for Marxist jihadists.
Right.
From top to bottom. The moderates may hide it a little better, but they're just as corrupt.
He's right. 100%. 100%. You were a dumbass. What do you mean? Let me say, I'm a health and safety rep. Nice. So can you figure out legally the company's fault? Oh, okay. Very cool. What'd you think of that, Dr. J? He's right. I think he's 100% right.
Yeah, I mean, when they come out, they want to cancel fireworks, cancel Thanksgiving. They want to cancel the Senate. They want to cancel the presidency. They want to cancel the
Supreme Court. Yeah, Electoral College. In other words, everything that would help them win forever.
Yeah.
That's what they want to do. Wow, I have to refresh. Wow, my screens are like really messed up. What the hell is going on? Show scenes panel. Okay, there it is. Wow. I don't know what's up. Hopefully I can read this stuff. Yeah, I still will be. I don't know what's going on. Everything's like, maybe if I hit refresh, I don't know. I may have to leave and come back if I can't read, because everything's like, it's like my video card went bad, but I don't know how I could do that right now. So, let's see. Okay. So next one, let's go up. This is another good one. American urban culture. Is it beyond repair? I think so. I'll tell you what, guys, I have a school teacher who's going to be on a video, and it made me tear up a bit. I'll admit it. He's very upset about something. Where do you see it? I've seen a lot of school teachers that go on video, and all of them are usually like to go on TikTok and stuff like that. They're usually scum. You don't want them in there. This guy, you can tell he really cared about these. I'm going to put that up next. So let's do this one now. Okay. So examining the deleterious impacts of modern urban culture on the American social fabric and its future prognosis. That's like one of those egghead lines you'd see in a white paper at like the Brookings Institute. Mothers record preposterous social media videos for children's first days of school. To open the first exhibit of exceptional parenting here, complete with the caption, "First day of school, and they already on bullshit. Don't fuck with me." The first grader tells the camera. Can you believe this? Which her mother holds. The little girl said that to a camera that her mother was holding. Right. "Oh, shit," the mother laughs and responds audibly pleased. "Let me see y'all ice," the mother instructs the children, referring to their jewelry, which they're wearing a lot of to school for some reason. The entire 2-minute thing is replete with profanity, both from the children and the mother. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, as they say. Later on, the first grader flips the bird to the camera at the behest of her mother, it's just one mother, right? Who instructs her to give the camera attitude. Then the video cuts to the car ride, wherein the children listen to profanity-laden, mostly unintelligible rap music and flash gang signs. The first grader flips the bird again. I don't even know if I want to show this. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
You kidding me? Now, let me chime in here. Okay. They wonder why the culture is crap now. We just had a mother. We watched it. We had a mother. Look at that little girl, how adorable she is. And she has her using F-bombs on the first day of school on camera. And she's probably going to show her friend, "Look what she said. That's my little girl. She threw an F-bomb." Oh.
Okay, y'all. What is Gibby?
4th grade.
What grade you going to?
4th grade.
Okay, 4th grade, 1st grade. Thank you. It's them Barbies. Let me see y'all eyes. Ooh, tell them this shit is stamper.
You can marry my team.
Ooh, shoot.
She's like, think about this, guys. We never saw girls act badass like that when I was growing up. It just didn't happen. Women didn't even really have a crime rate. Sure, there were women that committed crimes, but not a whole lot of women are committing violent crimes or talking like this to their mother going into 3rd grade.
Check. Let me see how y'all coming. Okay.
She's flipping a bird.
Oh,
yeah.
What the fuck? Oh.
Look at the mother. Oh. What the F? Holy cow. I can't play this.
And you noticed her nails.
Yeah.
1st grade? Give me a break.
Wow. Here you go. 3rd grade, she said. One can't imagine these kids are destined to excel academically, save for some anomaly of character independent of their clearly dysfunctional upbringing at the hands of their ghetto mother. That's pretty rough, but true. Can you imagine the nightmare that would be running a parent-teacher conference with this lady? At least cops on the beat, when they encounter her, which they almost surely have many times, have the deterrent of a taser and gun, and the concomitant monopoly on state violence to keep her gutter attitude in check, whereas the teacher just gets thrown to the wolves unarmed. That's true. Next up, we have a pair of school children holding exorbitant amounts of cash, probably fake, while the person recording, presumably the mother, tells them to whip it out and repeatedly says "fur day," meaning first day of school. Fur day, right? The little girl looks like a hostage because she is. Watch this.
Now you're supposed to whip it up. Fur day.
Oh, look at the little girl. She's all like, she knows this is wrong. They both do. They both, look at the little girl. You think she doesn't know that this is wrong? Yeah, they will be boys. You're right. Children just aren't children anymore. I know. It makes me sad too, man. I see what I can do. Oh, okay. Disgust. I know. Showing their bling and then making them hold money like that. You know what it seems like to me? Like what they're doing is they're saying, I want my children. I want my children, right? I want them to show off my wealth by what I gave them. It's all about them, the women, right? The mothers and all that.
If you ask me, the only culture this family experiences is rap videos.
I'm not even going to read anymore. I just wanted to delve into. Yeah, it's abuse. You're right, man. You're absolutely right, Anglo. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, rap videos. That's all that passes for culture in that family.
Yeah, I want to see this map. I'm going to go to this. It's where is it? Right here. Oh man, my screen once again. Hold on. Wow, why did it do that? All right, hold on. Let me go. Jeez. Jabberhouse. So let me go here. Yeah, there's something wrong. I may have to reboot if this gets worse, but let's go in here. Okay, it's fine that way. So I'll probably have to go in that way from now on. Differently. Oh no, it's still giving me. Wow, I can't go in.
It's coming up on this end.
Yeah, I know, but for me, it's going like this, and I don't know why. I may have to reboot. Yeah, give me a couple minutes, guys.
Well,
I got to do that because I can't see anything.
If you bring my screen up, would I be able to play it while you reboot? Probably not.
Well, if I bring it up, yeah, give me a link that you want to read, and then I'll bring it up, and then when I leave, you'll be able to still. Yeah, I'll be back in like 2-3 minutes. There's something wrong. It has to re-render itself.
Yeah.
All right, you good?
Yeah. So
okay.
I'll just play this video while you're gone.
All right. I'll be back. All right. Sorry, guys. I'll be right back. There's something wrong with my video card. I got to reboot.
All right, guys, you're gonna love this.
I don't know if you've noticed, as of late, there is an influx of Mogadishu people in my comment section. And guess what? I'm not going to let off the neck of a Somalian, because if I see a Somalian, 9 times out of 10, you are connected to fraud. You're in Canada, you're in the UK, you're predominantly in Minneapolis. And what's happening in Minneapolis right now? A bunch of scamming. You guys come to this country, try to demean Black Americans like we aren't intelligent, like we aren't smart. Listen, we don't get international funding like you do. We don't get to claim asylum and refugee and get money and get people to help us fill out our applications because we can't speak English in our dirty hijabs. We don't get to do that. Black people have had to work. We are a huge part of American culture. Little do you know, you better thank us. I just know when I'm young, when I'm trying to enjoy my cornflakes and watch Flintstones, I'm being interrupted by an infomercial because we got to save y'all fucking broke, poor, I can't eat ass with some rice bags. You think I'm going to argue on the internet with people who sit on shit? You sit on shit. You sit on cow dung. You lay on cow dung as beds. You guys want the Black American experience to be your experience so bad. I swear to God, I thought my whole life a pirate was Disney. When I saw who a real pirate was, oh my God. You guys swear up and down you're smarter than Americans. That's a fucking lie. Okay? You come here and you own what? A halal fucking market? I want y'all to go look right now and tell me the predominant career of a Somalian in the U.S. I'll wait. Tell me what it is. Tell me what it is. You want us to correlate to your experience of a pirate boat, but that's not the truth. 4 million enslaved Africans primarily went where? They didn't come to the U.S. They went to Brazil. They went to the Caribbean. Y'all ain't got no kind of funk for them. How come no one talks about that? That's where majority of the slaves went. 350,000 enslaved Africans only came to the U.S. That's not even half. That's not even half. There were Black people on this land. They didn't call them Black then. Those are indigenous people who intermarried with natives for years before the Atlantic slave trade. You think you're going to come in our country and be broke and stinky and we're not going to talk shit and you're going to think you're going to take money from us?
And I'm back.
Be dirty if you want to.
Well, we've actually found the thing that unites all of us as Americans. Nobody likes third worlders coming here from barbarian cultures and committing fraud because that's all they know how to do. And so now unite with us, lady. I don't know if you voted for Kamala Harris, but vote for Donald Trump, vote for America first, and unite with us to make sure that our country doesn't get overrun by the third world and third world cultures that are here to loot and steal and be pirates. And this is how we win.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I just thought that rant was just over the top good. It was great. Now we know, and I guess maybe the Black community, I really don't like that word. The Black community doesn't make sense to me really much. But blacks in this country are starting to realize, wait a minute, we've been in this country and we did this, that, and the other. And now these Somalis are coming over and trying to say that they're either the same as us or better than us. So, yeah.
Really?
That's interesting. Yeah.
Really, Anglo? Is halal? Oh, 80%? It's so important. Support your butcher. Yeah, none. Yeah. Oh, that's crazy.
Interesting.
That's crazy town. Let me see if I can get into other. Let me see if I can do this again. It was American Greatness. Okay,
yeah, if you missed that,
what's that,
Rich? If you go into Benny Johnson's and look at his last short that he was up. If you missed the rant.
Oh yeah, I'll see that later.
You can do that.
I just want to see if my video card works with this.
Yeah.
With this screen now. Crazy stuff, right? Yeah, it works fine. Good. Thank God. Something weird happened. Yeah, I don't know what it was. Okay. There's Morning Greatness. White House launches interactive map. I wanted to see this, tracking billions in suspected fraud. So, 8 a.m. the president participate. Oh, wow. What is this? Where's the map? Oh, geez. What a loser. I didn't watch it on purpose because I wanted to be just as shocked as you, and it's nothing. Big nothing burgers. Now we'll go non-citizens arrested for voting. That never happens. And when it does, it's a good thing. So non-citizens arrested for voting illegally in 2024 election in Michigan. It was the second most pristine election we've had. Yeah, okay. Michigan's Democrat Attorney General Dana Nessel, guilty, has announced that her office has charged 5 non-citizens with crimes, 5, related to voting or attempting to vote in the state's November 2024 general election. What about the other thousands and thousands that did? Because we know. We just know. Because in Michigan, I think it was in Detroit alone, what was it? There were like 68 precincts that were out of balance, meaning there were more votes than there were people registered to vote in those precincts. A 6th person, a U.S. citizen, was also charged in connection with registering a non-citizen spouse to vote. The cases emerged from dozens of referrals made by the Michigan Department of State involving suspected non-citizen voting and related election offenses. Throughout 2025, the Michigan Department of State referred 16 cases, only 16, involving suspected non-citizen voting in the November 2024 election to the Attorney General's office. Another 22 cases were referred in 2026 involving suspected non-citizen voting or related conduct in elections dating from 2009 to 2025. Of the 38 total cases, 6 have resulted in criminal charges, 10 were closed without charges, and 22 remain under review. Michigan officials also canceled the voter registrations of every identified non-citizen voter, regardless of whether criminal charges were filed. You know, in most blue cities now, we saw where they have, I know in Philly they do it, in New York, because they covered it on YouTube. I mean, guys did videos of it, where it'll pay a homeless person $5 to sign their name to a form. They don't even know what they're signing. It might be a mail-in ballot. They don't even know. They don't care. They're going to be able to buy crack. Defendants face felony and misdemeanor counts. The 5 non-citizens include lawful permanent residents, not anymore, a limited-term alien resident, and a United Kingdom resident. Uh-oh. Yeah, it's probably a Muslim. None were U.S. citizens. They face charges including fraudulent voter registration, election law forgery, perjury, false statements involving absentee ballot materials, and attempting to vote as an unqualified elector. Well, some of them are unqualified humans. Potential penalties range from 90 days in jail to several years in prison. Quote, in my office, we've always taken election crime seriously. No, you didn't. And prosecute attacks on our voting system to the fullest extent of the law necessary. Yeah. We're upholding election integrity by investigating all claims of non-citizen voters as rare as they are. Right. Wasn't there like 300,000 illegals that they just found were on the rolls? And well, I said it before. When they get illegals, they don't need illegals to vote. The Democrats don't. They just need illegals to register to vote and then fade away. And their job's done. Because what they do then is they get a mail-in ballot and they fill out the name of all these illegals that registered to vote. So when a mail-in ballot, you don't even have to see the person like standing in front of you. Yeah, name, and they flip the page over. Yeah, sign here. They don't have to go through that shit. That's why mail-in ballots in 2020 were a godsend for the Democrats. That's how they cheated royally. All right. Let's see. News attorney just announced charges against 5. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Officials say citizenship verification can be complicated. No, it isn't. Nessel said some investigations proved more complicated because state officials have limited access to federal citizenship records. How about a birth certificate? That's not federal. How's that federal? Among the cases closed without charges, investigators determined that 2 referred individuals were U.S. citizens. Good. Throw their ass in jail with the others. Another was presumed to be a citizen because of an early international adoption despite incomplete documentation. Send them away. A 4th person was identified as a federally recognized American Indian born in Canada. How's he American Indian if he's born in Canada? Okay. Who did not possess U.S. citizenship or voting rights. How could they call them an American Indian? Commander, you're on deck. What do they call people that would be considered native up there? Hello. Stupid laws against it. Yep, they do.
Might be related to just North American.
Nah, that's not what they mean. You know what I mean. American Indian. They would say Canadian Indian. 5'9", they want you to believe, like in one sentence, they said they're American Indian, born in Canada, but they don't possess U.S. citizenship or voting rights. Then they're not American Indian. Born in Canada, don't have U.S. citizenship.
I've never heard the term Canadian Indian.
Me either, but why are they calling them American Indian? If they were born in Canada, like I said, 3rd time, and do not possess U.S. citizenship or voting rights, there's something other than American Indian. Are they trying to say American Indian is a race? All 5 non-citizens now facing charges are accused of casting ballots among more than 5.7 million votes submitted in Michigan's 2024 general election. Yeah, it was just too big to steal this time. The Attorney General's office said that the remaining 22 referrals are still being reviewed. Yeah, bullshit. We don't have to read it anymore. It's Michigan, for goodness sake.
Rich Anglo says super chats have been disabled.
They have? Uh-oh. How is that? Oh, really? Nah. I wonder why. I didn't do anything. Let me see. I wonder why. Let me look at it. They usually tell you inside your...
Yeah, that's right, Linda. First Nations. I remember them using that term a lot in Canada.
Huh. Let me see. Super gifts. Let's see. Says they're on. Super thanks, super sticker, super chat. Let's see. Get started. What? What is this? Virtual items, virtual model. Incorporated on the terms. What the hell is that? I don't care about that. Oh, wow. Turn on live stream. Gift streams. Yeah, okay, whatever. Good. Setup complete. I don't understand why I'm doing that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It says they're all set up. In fact, they show everything from how do they review your user? Oh, you know what they did? Yeah, YouTube just changed a lot of monetization rules. I don't think I'm caught up in it, but holy mackerel. I have read and I understand. Okay. All right, there we go. GIFs and all that. Yeah, it's all. All right, whatever. I don't know, guys. Maybe hit refresh. Oh, there they are.
One just came through.
Yeah, God bless you, brother. Thank you. I really.
Oh, he says I
read it wrong. You're good. That's all right. That's all right. Because you know what they really did. Like, here's what they did. You needed 1,000 subs and 4,000 watch hours within a 365-day period, right? And thank you, Angela. I appreciate that, brother. And then I think for shorts, it's a ridiculous number. I mean, Linda, God bless you, girl. Thank you. Really appreciate that. Hello.
So, Anglo, were you just trying to mess with Rich and make him look around for
yeah, well, you know what? It worked.
it worked. Yeah, it worked.
Yeah, you owe me a beer when I'm over there next time I come over. But yeah. So anyway, So now they made it so that you got to get what is it? It's 8,000. It's still 1,000 subs, but 8,000 hours within a year. They doubled it, right? But I'm grandfathered in, thank God, because right now I think I'm only at 6.
That's a lot of view hours.
6,495 or something like that.
That's a lot of view hours.
Yeah, it is. But you know how everybody gets it. Just seeing if it worked. Yeah, and God bless you for that. Hey guys, see if it works for you. But what's it called? Thank you both, please. Thank you. Anyway, so they grandfathered us in, which is a good thing, but I don't know, man. Like 8,000 hours for people that aren't monetized yet.
That's a lot of hours.
Yeah, it is a lot of hours. Most people do it live streams though, you know, because the hours, you get the hours of everybody that's watching. So if you have a decent enough, yeah, you get a lot of hours that way. All right, so back to this. Let's play something. Let me see the teacher. Dirty senior students. Let me see if this is him. Let's see. Where's the video? Yeah, this is him. Okay, hold on. Let me go down. Get to his. Yeah, this is it. Yeah, this is actually sad, but it's got to be seen because you know what? You got a teacher who's actually telling the truth here. All right. So let me bring it over.
Oh, I know which one this is.
Yeah,
I betcha.
Yeah, it's this guy. Where the hell? What did they do? Oh God, there it is. Is that him?
Yep.
Yeah. This is really what I don't know how to get rid of this thing. How do you get rid of it? It just keeps. All right, let's just do it.
So I am on my lunch break. It is, I don't know, 11:30 or something like that. And
listen to this guy. He cares. He cares.
I just finished a 3-hour class. We have what's called block, and block is where first and second periods are combined for subjects that need it. And so I literally broke down in the middle of class because
it cries here.
I'm teaching seniors. These kids are leaving high school and going to college, hopefully, after they finish. We had 2 paragraphs to read, 1 sentence complete to write. I gave them the sentence stems. I basically completed the sentence for them in the model.
He's crying. Look at him.
These are 17 and 18-year-old kids, and they couldn't fill in 4 words. 4 words. I gave them the scenario. We annotated together. I gave them the answers before we even had the problem. And they couldn't do it. I don't know. I simply don't know where the problem is. This is only day 2.
Oof.
And I have seniors who simply cannot read and seniors who cannot write. They cannot write. They can reason. They have the ability to defend their reasoning if it's talking to their homeboy, but applying that to a written text, 2 paragraphs.
Isn't that partially because we're in the internet phase? You don't have to really read and write because you have internet speak now. LOL is laugh out loud. You got all these acronyms that you're using now, and people have just dumbed down language. They just have, be it for, I don't know, political reasons, racial reasons, who knows? Who cares? It's just they've dumbed down. But I'm wondering if this poor man's going to lose his job for doing this video.
That I wouldn't be, right?
He didn't say, no, they would fire his ass for making them all look bad. But, and you know what? If they did, I'll guarantee there will be multiple schools that reach out to him and say, we'll help you move. We'll get you here. We want you here. Because this is one that you see that we go, there's a lot of teachers that care. I never see them. They're silent. They don't push back against the bullshit teachers. This guy is pushing back because he's saying, you know, I have kids that I'm going to have to graduate because that's the rules. You're not allowed to fail them in senior year in a lot of schools. You know why? Because get this, because the Democrats tied grants to the percentage of graduates. And if you don't have a certain percent, if you fail too many graduates, then you fail as a school, and you fail as a teacher, and you don't get those grants to your school. So they tell them, just pass them along. That's when he said, some of these kids are going to go on to college. He said, I hope so. And they can't read and they can't write. Now he's saying, God love him, he's saying they're intelligent because they can reason and they can defend their reasoning, but they can't write a proper sentence.
And they couldn't do it. Our young black men.
Oh, yeah.
Our
I
young
believe you.
brown men.
I believe you.
Our young black girls and our young brown girls.
Look at him. He's losing it. He's losing it for them.
Oh, God.
Isn't that something, guys?
Yeah, even in the age of the internet, you've got to read. It comes up on your screen. You got to read.
Yes, but I'm saying LOL was the beginning of it.
Yeah, maybe.
You don't have to say laugh on that. Hey, you're making me laugh. No, you just do LOL, and it's become lazy. All right? Hold on. Since the internet, you type 70% of what you say. Writing is not optional.
Okay,
yes,
yeah, that's basically what I'm saying.
But look, we can go on any damn forums. Like, all right, not picking on you, 42. You know I love you to death. But shouldn't you have done a capital H on hold on? I'm just saying, right? You did the capital W on the writing is not optional, right? I'm just saying. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying, and let me get that off. He's going to hate me now. I'm sorry, brother. But I'm just saying that this is how we write now, all right? And I think what he's saying is that kids today are not taking seriously an assignment like that. Like they say, you know what? When am I ever going to have to read a sentence and fill in the blanks with 4 words? I'm never going to have to do that in the real world. And they're right. But 99% of the kids are never going to have to figure out algebra either. They're never going to. When are they going to use algebra, right? There's certain professions they do. Right. Mine, we use variables and stuff in programming, but it's not for that. It's to get you to think. That's why you take algebra. It's to get you to think. Because if you can learn to think, and if you're reading, like if your reading comprehension is shitty, guess what? You're going to do terrible even in gym class. You're not going to do well in anything if you can't read. Now, when I was younger, when I was in about 5th grade, I could read a paragraph in my social studies book. I would read it out to my mother. She would have it out and go, read that. And I would go, okay. And I read it. And she goes, what does it mean? I go, I don't know. I literally read every single word, but my reading comprehension was for shit. All right. I could not get. So what my mother did, which I thought a punishment, she thought helping me. Now I understand what she meant. She had a library of books, and she would tell me every night I had to go up, grab a book, read an entire chapter, and then come down, read it to her, and then I tell her what it means. And God bless her, because when she did that for a year, I only had off Saturdays and Sundays, but she did it for a year. And when I got older, my reading comprehension built up, and then my grades grew up. They went higher, because of that. But in the schools today, they have dumbed down schooling so much, and it's all politically tied. Well, because the money comes in.
It's politically tied, and the teachers' organizations are responsible for a lot of it.
Yeah,
they run around. They run around saying how they don't have time to teach reading and math, but they do have an hour to teach you how to. Well, let me keep this clean. How to have an intimate relationship with a trans woman.
Yeah,
you got time to teach you that.
They can write, just not until. Yeah, exactly, brother. Yeah, you're right. You're exactly right. Yeah, you're exactly right. They can write, but just not well. They couldn't do that. And you got to think, man, this guy, like, you can tell this teacher was involved, right? You could tell just by as emotional as he got. For a man to get that emotional, where you could tell he cared, and he knew what he was talking about because he sounded intelligent for the class he was teaching, right? So he knew everything, right? God bless him. And so he's saying to himself, these are seniors. we used to have a guy named Mr. Algio. I went to Roman Catholic High School in Philadelphia. Okay. At the time I went, it was the #1 Catholic school in the country. It was all boys, right? Hallahan was down the street. That was our sister high school. And we would all meet in the McDonald's, but I'm not going to tell you what went on there. It would probably bore you. Anyway, so
we all went to high school, Rich.
Yes. Yeah, but yeah, you don't know what I'm talking about. But so at Roman Catholic, we had a guy named Mr. Algio, and he taught you no matter what. When you went to Roman, Mr. Algio taught you, because if you didn't get him in, he taught freshmen and seniors coming and going. All right. And if you didn't get him in freshman year, he would go through the books to see which one you didn't, and he would have him. So I had him senior year. And he would always say, when he went up to one of us and he asked us a question about what was on the board and all that, and you didn't have an answer, he would look you straight in the face and go, 12 years. Where did it all go? What the hell were you doing with yourself? He would say that to you, and you just start laughing, and he would backhand you if you laughed in his face. All right. But that's what this man was doing. He was basically thinking like this is our last shot at preparing them for either a job or to go to college to prepare for a job. And I don't know. He said, I don't know what to do. You know, like if you can't get basics like what he was explaining, which we did in like 5th grade, if you can't do that and you're a senior in high school, I mean, how are you going to have a shot at the world? Right? And so the man was visibly upset, and I commend him for caring that much, because a lot of teachers don't. I'm not saying fact checkers. I'm not saying all teachers don't. I'm just saying.
And a lot of it has to do with parental involvement as well. Because I know when I went to school, like before I went to school, my mother was sitting down with age-appropriate toddler books with me.
Okay.
And I was reading them with her.
Oh, okay.
And so I got to school, I had a basic reading already before I even hit day 1.
Okay. Do you remember Jacob French Fry? He's a Minneapolis mayor.
Jacob Fry, yeah.
Real douchebag, like a dork, right?
Yep.
Here's a video of him dancing. Did you ever see the Seinfeld episode when Elaine danced? Look at him. There he is. And see, that's why they got Costanza there, because he was like, oh my God. He saw Elaine dance for the first. Oh, you're gonna love this, right? I watched Jacob Fry dance at Minnesota's Black State Affair, a real thing. So now you have to watch him too. Great. All right. So he says, I saw it, so now you have to. Who is it? Is it the B, right? Not the B, actually. Harris Rigby. Okay. Jacob Fry, Minneapolis mayor, visited the Black Entrepreneur State Fair, which appears to be a single rapper in a parking lot, and showed off his dance moves for the good people of Minnesota. Let's get this over on X so we can have a bigger. Hold on. Where's the sound? Oh, I hate this. They cut the sound. Why don't they set it up? All right. There we go. Yeah.
Okay, you gotta feel it. You do a little bounce. Ooh, ooh. That's how you keep your rhythm. Ooh. See, you gotta get that face. You smiling too much. You gotta make a face like somebody do.
Holy mackerel. Oh no. If he didn't just lose every vote
That's
in Minneapolis.
embarrassing.
I know. If he didn't just lose every single vote.
Hey, did you see?
He's the only one there. I know. That's the worst part.
Talking about that, did you see Mondami's video that came out of him trying to be a rap star?
Yeah. Well, I saw that, and then a friend of mine sent me a copy of like a smaller version of it. But yeah, I'm going to show. In fact, did I put that in my video? I might have. I did a video on it. Yeah, I did a video on it this week.
That's where I saw it then.
Yeah. I did a video on it.
He's there and he's got the gun and he's in the car and he's doing the rap thing.
Well, on one point, like guys, this is Mount Donnie, right? Who was standing there screaming, at Tom Hochul, Homan, sorry, Homan, yeah, Hochul, the governor. Yeah, Tom Homan. He's the he's in charge of ICE, right? Well, he was there in New York, and you see Mamdani when he was a city councilman. Like, yeah, these kids, they don't even have food. Oh, they screaming and all. But 10 years ago in 2016, he was a little fruit fly. Fact checkers. He was, if you see the video. And he was sitting there being interviewed by this nice lady, and it was because of his job. It was the first and only job he ever had in real life. His mother, it was her film. She had a movie, right? And so he was third assistant director and something about choreography for the dancing. Yeah. And so he's sitting there and he's talking like this, and he's got that smile on that he does, and he's talking about everything with it. And I'm like, oh my God. And he has an accent, right? In 10 years, he lost an accent, and he lost the feminine part of it. We'll play it before we leave. Oh my goodness. Let me see.
Yeah, I like the one where he's in the car and he's brandishing this gun and he's rapping.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. It's like it's the same guy. So let's go. Let's see. Minnesota Supreme Court upholds. No. El Said. No. Election integrity win. We'll get these other ones. Grand jury indicts 11. Wow. Hochul. Here we go. She's a piece of crap. Exclusive. What the hell is going? Why is it not loading? Oh, there it is. Yeah, you know what? New York Post. Get rid of these damn ads. They're like in the way. Owner of suspiciously vacant adult daycares. What is an adult daycare? All right, I guess when you get to, don't they call them like, what do they call them? Like old folks homes? Owner of suspiciously vacant adult daycare billed Medicaid $32 million while donating to Kathy Hochul and other Democrats. Okay. It's illegal here. You can't do that. So in other words, they're taking New York workers' money, and the majority of the land in New York is red. All right. It's conservative. It's Republican, right? It's those blue cities that have like billions of people. Right. And that's how they win the government, but and the cheating. But you would think that they would try to cover that shit up, that they're taking state taxpayer dollars, sending it to fraudulent companies like that, like they do up in Minneapolis and in LA and in Seattle and all those cities. And so they're using taxpayer dollars to fund that. And then they get a kickback, like Kathy Hochul. She received $55,000 in campaign contributions from social adult daycare centers in fraud-plagued Flushing, Queens records show. So it's a quid pro quo, right? So she says, okay, I'm going to release money. You know what? It ain't her money. She doesn't give a damn, right? It's not her money. It's your money, right? If you live in New York. And she throws the money at these organizations knowing they're going to give her some of it back, right? So they made millions. She made 55,000. Well, how many of those phony things that she allowed the money to go to them is she going to get campaign money? You know, because small people like you and me, they don't throw money at Democrats anymore, unless, of course, you're that extra chromosome type of liberal, right? I mean, you're one of those 10% of the 33% of leftists. You're like super crazy, but most of them they're not going to do that. So they got to get their money this way through fraud, right? And George Soros and the co-founder of LinkedIn, forget his name, but George Soros and that other idiot, the billionaires, they have not put one dime to the DNC. How about that? That's a big story nobody wants to talk about. George Soros did not put a dime, neither did his son, Alex. No money, because they're like, we're not putting it up for commies, which surprised me. All right, so almost half of those donations can be linked to two men. Local power broker Baoli Zhang and Jimin Shang. Gosh, I wonder where you think they came from. Where do you think they came from, Jay? Who own two of Flushing's biggest daycare businesses, both of which were empty of patients when visited by the Post last week. Zhang, 69, personally donated $10,000 as well as another $5,000 through the Bayo Kang Adult Care Center financial disclosures show. Zhang's various businesses have claimed at least $32 million from Medicaid since 2018 on behalf of tens of thousands of patients. Look at this. Good Lord. World renowned. There she is. My pretty. Oh, good Lord. Let's see. We're looking at a woman in a bathtub. Real? Oh, it's in a pool. All right. Shang runs Living Well Daycare, which donated $5,000 to Hochul in 2022. The same year, it billed $5.8 million to Medicaid. Wow. Another and Medicaid is for what? Poor people, right? So they're ripping off.
Medicaid is for the low income. Yeah.
Yeah, poor people. That's what I just called them. All right. And unless you voted for Obama, and then middle class families were allowed to get on Medicaid because his unemployment rate was over 8% for the first 4 years, and then magically right before the election it went down to 7.3, I think. That's because they went to the U6 instead of the U2. Don't get me started. So let's see. Look at this. In 2021, social adult daycare centers were dying due to COVID. Someone threw them a lifeline and must have said something like, take care of me, I'll take care of you. Exactly. We're making more money than ever now, an industry source claimed to the Post. Federal figures back this up. Business has exploded at Living Well, which billed $114,000 in 2018, a number that increased to $8.05 million in 2024. Bao Kang, went from claiming $1.5 million in 2018 to $7.22 by 2024. Monthly revenue for daycares across Flushing overall has nearly doubled compared to pre-pandemic numbers. Only 9 of the city's nearly 400 SADCs made contributions over $5,000 to Hochul's first gubernatorial campaign in 2022. Those same 9 businesses accounted for billing Medicaid for an eye-popping $49 million in 2022. The Post investigation found, we don't need to read anymore, they're cheating. How's that? They're fraud and they're cheating.
This is my shocked face.
Yeah, I know. How Barack Hussein Obama. I don't know. I always call him Barack Hussein Milhouse Benito Obama. That's what he reminds me of. A little bit of Mark Levin. All right. So let's see. Dems and there's one thing that we can all unite around, and that's flock cameras spying on us everywhere. Okay. So Dems and Republicans unite behind a common enemy. Flock cameras that are documenting everybody all the time. Yeah, they gotta kill this stuff. All these things. All right, look at this. Now I gotta kill it there. All right. In our intensely divided moment, there's one thing that the right and left seem to agree on. They hate flock cameras. The right doesn't like them because it's an invasion of privacy, and the left doesn't like them because they can't steal anymore. The cameras, fact checkers, look at the numbers. The cameras are installed in most urban areas across the country and record the license plate number of every car that drives past them, storing information about people's movement in a database for use by local governments and police departments. I don't think that's right. According to the company, Flock has 120,000 active cameras across the United States. Many police departments and investigators claim they make solving crimes and locating individuals easier than ever. Let me tell you something, guys. When you drive through any small town, like at least where I live, Philly, all that, at every single intersection where there's a traffic light, in the center of the intersection on the wires is a camera. Okay, every which way. They're never on. I learned that because they cost too much money to run all day long. And even if they put in motion detection, right, for vehicles coming up and set it to the right sensitivity, it would still cost them too much money. They don't have the money. They'd rather give all their money to welfare causes and handouts so they can stay in power. They buy votes with it. So guess what? If you go through a light accidentally, of course, we don't condone, fact checkers, we don't condone anybody breaking, traffic laws. But if you do, you're probably not going to get caught. So this is bullshit, but still 120,000 active cameras. Many police departments and investigators claim they help make solving crimes and locating individuals easier. Okay, so look at that. But critics are stacking up citing alleged police misuse, privacy rights violations, and massive surveillance. Where is Robin when we need her? I would bring her on. It reminds me of these sci-fi AI, like government watching your kind of movies. And anti-flock organizer Brian McKellar told the Post, there's an anti-flock organizer out there. How about that? Oh, come on. Look, I can't even scroll up because it's stupid. And there's nothing to like, how do I shut this off? That's crazy, man. All right. So over the past several months, flock cameras have been the cause of constant protest and formation of grassroots groups against them, like D-Flock. Vigilante vandals have even taken to obstructing and destroying the cameras themselves. Yeah, a can of black spray paint. But I didn't say that. Perhaps the most interesting feature is the protests aren't along party lines. Progressive social media like Blue Sky is flooded with people accusing. Look at this. It goes away. Come on. People accusing the cameras of being tools of a fascist government. They can't even tell you what fascist. Conservatives with the libertarian streak tend to see it as big government overreach into our private lives. That's what I just said. McKellar of Idaho Falls is a self-identified conservative who believes in law and order, but he thinks the cameras go too far. What happened here? Did you bring something up? Jade? Oh, I think she froze. Jade, you there?
Yeah, I'm back now.
Oh, I thought you froze. Yeah.
I think I might have for a second.
Yeah. So let's see. Let's go down here. McKellar of Idaho Falls is a self-identified conservative. He's a self-identified conservative. Yeah, all right. Who believes in law and order, but he thinks the cameras go too far. So do I. Quote, I don't live in Idaho because I don't want to be surveilled all the time. I like the country. I like the West. I like being in the wild, wild West, he told the Post. He looks like a wild, wild West. Okay. McKellar, 40, only became aware of his local police department had taken to using flock cameras for surveillance last year when another resident made a complaint about them during a town hall meeting. The revelation disturbed him so much that he helped launch D-Flock Idaho this summer. It's a grassroots organization of citizens who pressure city councils to reject flock cameras and work to obtain public records about how they're being used. We don't need to read anymore. Yeah, I don't like all the CCTV and all that. It does have a purpose, right? What's my buy me a coffee? It's up there. It should be. If it isn't, I don't know. It's not there? Oh, God. What the hell is going on here? Like
usually,
everything got rewritten. What's that?
Usually it's along the bottom of the screen.
I did put it in. I saw it. It was there.
It's not now.
Yeah. Let me.
Yeah, and the flock cameras, like, I know there's been some complaints. Like this lady was on, lady made a video. She said, "Oh yeah, I went to go to the gun range for some practice, and I looked up, and there were like 3 flock cameras pointed, not at the road, at the parking lot."
Let me see. Do I have it there? Yeah. No, it's not there. No, it's not there. Hold on. I pinned it. It should have been there. Oh, wow. Sorry, man. Let me get it up. Jeez. Ugh.
Temporary technical difficulties.
I know. I put it in there. I pinned it. I did the whole 9 yards. All right. So let's get into the chat. Let's do it here. There it be. All right. So now I got to pin it again. Pin message. Yes. Okay. There it is. Thanks, Jimmy. Appreciate it. All right. So let's see. The Hunter Hay, Jimmy from Philly is in the house, guys. Post probably stole the Nick Shirley vid. Yeah, for their research. Exactly. Think about it. These cities. Minneapolis has anti-fraud units for the government, right? And it took Nick Shirley to expose it. I remember they said that it was a Republican woman. She might have been the Speaker of the House up there. I don't know, but she was like big on her side. Well, not Speaker, but she was like up there in the Republican Party. And she said that she sent a report of all the fraud in Minneapolis and throughout rest of Minnesota to Governor Walz, and that he just didn't care. You know why it is? Because they bring these people in, right? And oh, wow. Anglo, thank you again. He said, I don't care if it upsets Americans. Lincoln betrayed the South and the Anglophone. What's the Anglophone? Is it, you mean your people?
Do you mean Anglosphere?
Yeah, I don't know. But well, we could discuss that. You can come on if you want. We could discuss that. Let me put it this way. I think yes, Sphere. I think the South was correct in that. Nothing to do with slavery. Slavery was wrong. But and the GOP was the Republican Party was created as the anti-slavery party. We were the abolitionists. We got rid of it. But I think the South had it right because they were saying, wait a minute. And it started with the Union trying to go after, like the North trying to go after for slavery, right? But they said, wait a minute. We are Federalists, meaning that the states have the power and the federal government is just supposed to be an agent to the states on issues of nationhood. You can't get into slavery because it's not an issue of nationhood, right? Nationhood, issues of nationhood, meaning the borders, right? Coins, things like that, right? And that was part of it, 40. Yeah, that was part of it. But mostly, I mean, the abolitionists came because they saw that the first number of presidents were from the South. They had that Virginia dynasty that went on, right? And they thought that no one would ever be able to be elected president if they weren't from the South. And so they thought that the economic fortunes of those politicians was due to the slavery. Like there was less than 1% of people, of Americans, that owned slaves. All right, they think you have slave. Everybody had a slave. No, it wasn't that way at all. It was 1% or less that owned slaves, but there were a lot of slaves on their plantations, and they did a lot of work, which was their commerce. Right, instead of inventing tools, which they did later when the Republicans took it away from them. Right, but the taxes was this 40, because you're right. So what they noticed was the South would pick the cotton and they would send the cotton up north. The North, being the industrialists, they would build that cotton into clothing, blankets, things, material things to wear, clothing, all that. So then they would ship it back down to the South to sell there and along the way to everybody else. The problem was back then, you had to do it through land or by canals and rivers and stuff like that. But no matter which way you went through each state at the time, you had to pay a tax. It was a sales tax, if you will. You had to pay a tax on what you were bringing through. So let's just say, for shits and giggles, if an amount of cotton cost 50 cents, the South sold it for 50 cents per whatever, and they sold it to the North, and they sent all this cotton up there. And then by the time it got up there with all the taxes, it would be so expensive, but they would buy it and make the clothing. But then by the time they taxed for the clothing coming down, nobody'd be able to afford it. They just couldn't. Yeah, they couldn't afford it. And so what started happening was the South started making deals with England and France, because they said, yeah, we'll buy your cotton and we'll ship you back the clothing, and we're not going to charge the day up in the North, though. And so what Lincoln saw was that we just won a war 70 years ago. It's part of the Gettysburg Address. Gettysburg's not really all that far from it. It's in the same state. Let's put it that way. It's on the other side, right? But what he was saying was, only 87 years ago, guys, we fought a war to be independent from England and from France and from any others. And now you're already turning back to the old mother country instead of trying to work things out here. No, we're not going to do that. And so the South seceded, which they didn't really have a right to do, but they seceded, and the other states, they made their decisions. Are we going to go with the Confederacy, or are we going to go out? But I agreed with how the Confederacy did it over what we have today. Because today, our federal government they've just gone too far that nobody even wants to dare think about it, about knocking them back. Because the federal government has usurped so much power. I mean, if you guys really want to read, and it's a very short read, it's The Federalist 45. It was written by Madison, who scholars and I'm not a scholar, but scholars and I consider to be the father of the Constitution. He wrote most of it, right? And he was one of the publicists in the Federalist Papers. And so he wrote Federalist 45. And in Federalist 45, among other things, he defines what the powers of the federal government are and the powers of the states. And he literally gives examples. And he basically says that the powers of the federal government are inferior and they are limited to issues of nationhood. And he names them, right? Then he says the power of the states are infinite. They're unending. And what he meant, and backed by the 10th Amendment later on, what he meant was even powers that don't even exist yet, and we're not even thinking about it, they belong to the states and the people respectively. And the federal government only had 18 powers written into the Constitution, and it's in Article 1, Section 8, and it's known as the enumerated powers. Now, technically, if the federal government wants to do something like Obamacare, that's not listed in Article 1, Section 8. Sorry. You can hold the Constitution up to the light, upside down, and pour fucking lemon juice on it. You're not going to find Obamacare in there. You're not going to find abortion in there either. Right? But what they did is they usurped the power. They said, F the articles. We don't care about the enumerated powers. We're just going to do it. And they did. And this took over the first 100 years, they started crippling it more and more. And now people believe the federal government is what's supposed to be in charge and that the states are subservient to them. That's not true. But nobody wants to fight the good fight. The American War for Independence, a classic brother war. Yeah. Funded by the French and the small hats. What do you mean? The Prussians? Who are the small hats? I don't know who you mean. This is the reason Ulster opposes everything. Any overstep will lead. Yes. And you know what? Our founders were, I thought, absolutely brilliant because they were the first ones that I know of in history of civilized world that said, okay, everybody up until this point has been saying the monarch, the government, has all the power and they loan rights to the people. Jays? I don't know what that means. And so they loan the power to the people and they could take it. Oh, the Jews. Oh, okay. Got it. All right. Got it. Yeah. Sorry. and so what the Jews actually, they were involved in the war, and they're the ones, believe it or not, that helped Washington at Valley Forge to get through it. I don't believe you. What don't you believe? and so where the hell was I? What do you mean you don't believe me? What do you mean? What don't you believe, Linda? Tell me. And so when the South was then dealing with the people that we had defeated 87 years prior, and it's not that we defeated you, we defeated your system because we were no longer being held to that. Was that you or me?
That was me.
The bell. Okay. All right. So I can't even remember what the original. It was about the enumerated powers and all that. But our federal government is not supposed to wield the power that it does now. It was never supposed to. But too many people became lazy because, think about this. We've had things like I'll say it right now. I love Trump and he's the president, but the president shouldn't have as many powers. Standing YouTube speak for the honey, I never knew that. I'm sorry. I never knew that. I didn't know. Is that like code word? Yeah, I never heard of that before. Is that code word or something? I don't know.
I didn't know that code either, honestly.
Yeah. I never heard of that. I'm sorry. The small hats. All right. Oh, now I get it. The small hats. Oh.
Yeah, the yarmulkes.
Yeah, I didn't even think of it until now. Oh my God. Okay. All right. I didn't even think of it. When you said that, when you said that, I was still back at the beginning of the Civil War. I was still talking about that. I'm like, the small hat. What are you talking about? All right. Let's get back to the fun stuff. Let's play some videos. Patriot. Oh yeah, this one's good. I remember this. Okay. Can I get in there? Yeah. Let's bring this up. It's called A Patriot.
Patriot. Check this out. I'm at the gym minding my own business. This older white guy comes up to me, pointing to my shirt, and he said, "Let me talk to you real quick." So I walk over there. I'm like, "What's up, man?" He said, "You shouldn't be wearing that shirt right now. You're going to offend a lot of people." I was like, Who am I going to offend? He said, "Immigrants." I started laughing. I'm like, "I'm an immigrant. I support the president." He's like, "No, you're not." I was like, "Yeah, born and raised in Iran, man." He gets all confused and he's like, "Well, how about the soldiers, military's being deployed to target protesters?" I was like, I like law and order too. I like stores that are not looted. I like taxi cabs that are not burned. I don't know about you. I support him on that. And he's like, "Well, a lot of people in the military don't. They're speaking out." They're walking away. And I was like, well, guess what, man? I'm a veteran too. And the first thing they teach you in the military that you obey the chain of command. And guess who's at the top of that chain? It's the commander-in-chief, the president of the United States. So I told him this. If you are talking about immigrants, you're wrong. You're talking about illegal immigrants. I spent 3 years in a refugee camp in Turkey, waited my turn with no source of education, no source of income, because we knew what was on the other side. I mean, when we got here, we didn't raise the Iranian flag. We raised the American flag and the Texas flag, and we still do today.
Yep.
So you're not talking about immigrants. You're talking about illegal immigrants, those people who invaded this country. And anybody in the military that have a problem with this, or like this guy, or those foreigners that are raising the foreign flag, you all are more than welcome to get the hell out and go find another place.
Yeah, you know what's killing me? You got the lib nuts that say, oh, those MAGA people, they just don't like immigration. No. We love immigrants. We don't like illegal immigrants, but they conflate the two because they want to win an argument, but they don't. This guy here, who would not want him as a neighbor? You know what I mean? He's from Iran.
You know what I say to him?
People from Iran are very cool.
You know what I say to him? I say, welcome, brother.
Yeah, welcome home, man. You know, it's like, and he served. He served in our military. Hats off, brother. You know? I mean, that's the kind of guy you want as a neighbor.
I'm an immigrant. I stood in line.
Yeah. Exactly. We want the people that came in legally, right?
You're not going to find
what a
patriotic crew.
You're still in the hats, girl. Oh my God, you're funny.
You're not going to find a more patriotic crew than in this house. I'm
yeah. So, I mean, I tell the lib nuts, they go nuts. I go, I'm a Native American. Like, you don't look Native. I was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I am Native born. I'm a Native American. It's like, you are not. You know. Yeah, personally, they were good people. Yeah, and today, overwhelming majority, very good. The young people, very young country as far as the age groups, but they're very, very good people. In fact, during the war, I saw these videos where people were like, "Look, you know, it was because of Elon, you know, because he put his Starlink over because they shut down all the internet and they couldn't stop him, right? So he put Starlink over there for free so that they could get things out, and they were saying things like." Look, we love President Trump. We love America. We always did. We were hoping for this. And some of them said Obama could have ended this, but he didn't. He did nothing. And they're right. They're absolutely said nothing.
Obama just did what Clinton did, paid them a bunch of money to shut up for a while.
Yep. And Obama, I think Obama, I mean, guys, Anglo and the rest of you, I think Obama and Hillary were the reason why you're having problems right now. Because when they did that stupid ass, what they called the Arab Spring, that was no Arab Spring. That was when they got rid of Mubarak because Mubarak was a dictator. But Mubarak was a dictator. He was placed in there by our CIA. But the reason why he was put there is because Israel told Egypt, they said, you have attacked us twice now in 48 and 67, unprovoked. And if you do it again, we're going to blow up both of your dams. Do you believe us? And they were like, yeah, we do. You will. Because if they did that, it would have completely annihilated like most of the people. If they blew those two dams up that flow right into Egypt, forget about it, right? And so they put Mubarak in there because they knew that, you know, they're Islamic fundamentalists that live there. And so they knew that they were going to have people that were going to try to attack Israel for just being all Jewish, right? And so he had to be real strict with them. And so he was a dictator, but he had to be. But he was our little dictator. So then what happens is Barack Obama wanted to get rid of the Sykes-Picot lines. Okay, Sykes-Picot lines were the boundary lines of the countries there that were made up by the Brits, by you guys, right? So he wanted Obama, being a Muslim himself, and yes, he was a Muslim, okay? He may be Christian now, but he was a Muslim, right? Yeah, I know. Oh, I know that, dude. I know that. But they're Muslims, okay? The one Sunni, the other one Shiite. I get it, right? But in fact, they're what do they call them? The 12ers. They're waiting for the final. What is it? The final, the Mahdi or whatever it is. They're waiting for, and he's going to take over the world, and there's going to be a prophet, and that prophet's going to come down. He's going to be friendly, and everyone's going to love him. And he's going to slaughter everyone. But that prophet, what they talk about is actually Jesus, all right? Because they believe Jesus was a prophet. And think about it. Our end of times, they pretty much write the same thing, but for them, it's glory. 8 p.m. today. How's it? Imagine. Agents, what the hell is this? Put them to work today. Now get out of here. Yeah, and so I mean, all that crap. But I understand. Yeah, the Persians. Do you know why, Anglo? Do you know why? I'd love to get you on here. Do you know why? Why they called themselves Iran? Why they changed the name, Anglo? Do you know? Oh wait,
you've described it on the show before.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. It was Hitler that gave him the idea, because Iran in Farsi means Aryan. Yeah, they're a death cult. Yeah, Iran in Farsi means Aryan, and so Hitler told. Well, the Grand Mufti met with Hitler, but when he told him, when he gave that message, it was to the diplomat that was there, and he said, "You should tell your people that you should change the name of Persia to Iran, because it meant Aryan, because the Grand Mufti pledged like it was like hundreds of thousands, like several battalions maybe, of men that fought with the Nazis in World War II. They trained with them and they fought with them. And because they had the same mental illness. They hated the Jews for just being all Jewish, right? And so I mean that's that, right? And the Persian people, I mean, dude, all the way up to the 60s and 70s, the early 70s, they would be polled and they say, what kind of people do you want to live like? Oh, the Americans. We love the Americans. They loved us, right? And then because their government got corrupt, like what government today is not corrupt, right? Their government got corrupt, and so the Ayatollahs, they started moving in, right, and saying, campaigning, saying, oh, the world's going to be a lot better here. There's going to be no corruption. Everybody's going to be able to do this, that, and the other thing. And as soon as they won, they locked everything down, became a theocracy, and the people are like, holy shit. Yeah, they claim, yeah. So Iran means Aryan in Farsi, from what I understand. That's what I learned. But
yeah, actually, Persian people will tell you that they're not Arab; they're European.
Yeah, they're not Arab. Oh no, they're not. They're Islamic, European. But they're not Arab.
Yeah, they say they're derived. They're from the same European stock.
Right. They are not. They're not Arabs at all. And
but you have to admit, the Shah certainly upset people enough that he didn't help the situation.
In a nutshell, this is why. There was a study done. I'm going to upset some Arabs here. Sorry. I'm not trying to. Fact checkers, I'm not trying to. I'm just saying what it is. Well, there were some studies that tried to find out why most Arab countries are shitholes for the people that live there. Not for the filthy rich, but for everybody else. And the whole reason what they found was because they are Arabs. Because they live in a tribal system, and one tribal system shits all over the other, all the way down the line. And so when the Shah of Iran, he had already modernized Iran, okay? And women walked around with mini skirts. They didn't have to wear anything on their heads. They were very happy. They had jewelry. Men walked around whatever they wanted, right? They were very happy people, right? They wanted to live like us and like you Europeans, right? And so the Shah comes along and he says, okay, we're going to modernize even more. All right. And so when he brought the construction, he got all the money, all these countries donated, right? And when they were going to start the construction contracts, the tribal system screwed them up, because the money had to go to the people, to the contractors that were able to do such an enormous job. And so that was always the richest tribes that were into construction. Iran. Oh, it was beautiful. Dude, you're absolutely right. I agree 100%. It was a beautiful country with beautiful people. And the people there are still beautiful. It's still a beautiful country once you get the Islamo-fascists out of there, right? And I'm telling you, I saw these people in the beginning of the war, and they're like, yes, we know that buildings are being bombed, but we don't mind. They're not bombing apartment buildings. They're bombing military targets. She said, and we understand the collateral damage happens. She goes, we wanted this for 47 years, right? So Trump is doing something for them. It's just the libnuts, they suffer from TDS, so they think that the war is a total loss. It's not. In fact, I'm going to go out on a limb and say, I don't think what Trump is doing has anything to do with Iran. I don't. Like I said, there's a thing called civilizational cosmocracy, and I'm reading about it now, and it's amazing. And they put Operation Night Hammer. Was that what it was called? Night Hammer. Yeah, I think it was what it was. But what it was like that operation was it was the fastest any army ever took over a country militarily and defeated them, right? So the Israelis, the small hats, they flew in before we got there and took out their AA armament, all of them. so that we could fly in and not get fired at in the middle of the night, right? So we flew in there and we took everything out that we wanted to take out so quickly because there were 3 things going on. And it's not just the United States that's doing this. There's other countries that are doing this. It's a cosmocracy. And what it is the first one is theopolitics. The second one is military politics. And the third is astropolitics. And when you combine, you have to have all 3 in order to do the things that they did. And so the first part, the theopolitics, is the Christians will no longer allow the Muslims to slaughter us. And that was the perfect example where Trump had to take out 60% uranium enrichment. And that's why we did it. We hadn't done shit. Every U.S. president said you cannot have, they can't have nukes, but they all kicked the fucking can down the road, didn't they? All of them. They did nothing.
And paid them off.
Yes, and paid them off. Especially Barack Obama, where he put millions of dollars, I think it was $1 billion, in pallets, dropped them off in the middle of the night like Pablo Escobar.
Yep. Pallets.
Yeah, and so on pallets of cash he gave them, right? Just to shut them up. And they didn't shut up. You know what they did? They started using it. They started paying their proxies, the Houthis, the Hezbollah, Hamas. They started paying all them to fuck with everybody in the region, keep it unstable, right? And so we had the theo part, then the military part, obviously, but that was combined with the astro part. Now, what do I mean by that? Our Space Force. They used AI. In fact, they used Claude Code AI. They used AI, like the AI that we don't know about. It's like so up there, right, that we don't know about it. But they used AI in conjunction with the planes that we flew in there to pinpoint, take out all those positions that we had to take out. And it happened so quickly that people were like turning around like, what the fuck just happened? Like they couldn't even understand what just happened. And so it's that kind of thing that's happening now, and it's going all over the place. Very Judeo-Christian of you, Rich. What? Not the Trinity I prefer. No, this has nothing to do with a religion. It has to do with, all right, some of you might be upset, but are we having a Dr. J moment? Yeah, he's asking, do you have one, Dr. J?
No.
Oh, all right. She didn't have one.
Yeah, it's hard to come up with these. I do think about it. This week's been particularly bad. I'll be better.
Okay. All right. I'm going to stop talking about it because I'll piss the Brits off if I continue. Hey, what's up? I like Trinity from the Matrix. There you go. Hey, what's up? I haven't seen you before. Welcome. Yeah. What Trump did there was to take out the rules-based order. I think we all know who ran that for 80 years. You're welcome. I think we all know who ran that. All right, so let's go. Let's the next one. Let's go down the list. I'll bring them up so we can show everybody what we're looking at. Here we go. JD Vance, DOJ to prosecute, election integrity went. Yeah, let's do this. Okay, just the news. It's John Solomon's piece. It says, Federal Appeals Court restores Texas's mail-in ballot ID requirements, which is a damn good thing. All right. So the Fifth Circuit, I'm going to get rid of John there. The Fifth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals Wednesday restored parts of the 2021 Texas election law that reformed the state's regulations regarding mail-in ballots and assisted voting. The Democrats have come up with every goddamn gourmet way to vote, and it's always to help them. Mail-in ballot, guys, we said it earlier. Mail-in ballots were used to steal elections because what they do is I say this all the time, but I want people that haven't seen this before to get it. Because what they do, it's called the spigot system. And on every state in the union, I believe, all 50 states, you can buy your voter rolls. You're allowed to. They'll sell them to you, right? And so what the Democrats do is they buy those voter rolls and they match the names and addresses up to the United States Postal Service database and against the Social Security database, the federal Social Security database. Now, why do they do that? Because if somebody's going to move out of the state or from one county to another, all right, these are legal terms I'm talking about. So what happens is they're going to tell the post office, yeah, I want to get my mail, and here's where I'm moving to. But they forget or they don't tell the state. If you move from one county to another or you move out of the state, you have to re-register in your new state. But if you move one county to another in the same state, you got to re-register in that county because there are things that are important that you're voting for. You're voting for a sheriff who's the top law enforcement officer in that county. You're voting for mayors. You're voting for a school board. You're voting for a lot, for your congressman if his district's inside, your county, right? There's a lot of things that are important. So the law is, in most states, I know in Georgia and Pennsylvania, if you moved and you don't notify the state by re-registering within 30 days of the election, you can't vote in your old county. You can't vote in your new county. Okay. So what Democrats do is they match these things up and they see who moved and then who didn't register. So if it doesn't match, but they get that and they get the note, they can get the notification from the USPS to say that, yeah, they put in a change of address. Okay. And they didn't register. Well, guess what? They're never going to know that they voted in that county because they moved to the next county. Right. If somebody died, that's how they know who died. They match the voter rolls against the Social Security database. They find out who's deceased. That's a new voter. This is what they do. They get illegal aliens not to vote because the Dems, the lib nuts, they always, it's very rare. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. Where did you park your squad car? All right. It's like what they do is they get them to register to vote and then they float away. They don't care because then they send a mail-in ballot with that registration name and address on it. And if you get 100,000 illegals in one state, you could tip elections. All you do is pick and choose where you want that ballot to go. And if they need somebody more in this county, that congressman, right, then they throw it up. This is what they do. They've been doing it for decades.
Yeah, some of the elections are decided by like thousands of votes.
Yep. Come on my feed. I'll check you out. Cool, man. Appreciate it.
Welcome.
Yeah, welcome, bro. Tell your friends. Yeah, I'm Christian, not Judeo-Christian. It's a oxymoron propaganda term. All right. Well, we are Judeo-Christian because we had Jews and we had Christians here when we were born. We really did. Let's call it. Let's see. YouTube didn't like me saying Judeo-Christian. Really? Is an oxymoron? Who didn't? What did they do? Seriously? You can say whatever you want here. How do you disassociate Jesus from Yahweh, though? I don't know. I only have enemies. Yeah, that's funny. All right, man. Then you're going to work around here. You'll fit in nicely.
You'll have a good time.
The law had faced several lawsuits over accessibility concerns, this is Texas, which were consolidated into a single law. The Texas Tribune reported, and a district judge blocked 9 of the law's provisions. These district judges, holy man, these blocked provisions included requiring Texas voters to provide an identification or social security number on mail-in ballot applications, which were required to match state records. See, this is what election integrity tries to do. It's trying to slow down the amount of fraud that Democrats are doing. Now, I'm not saying, fact checkers, I'm not saying that Republicans don't cheat. What I am saying is it's so minuscule what they claim is overall. It's so minuscule compared to Democrats. Now, anybody that cheats, throw their ass in jail. But you know what? It's a political crime, so no one's going to jail. Well, if you're a civilian, isn't that some shit? If you're a civilian, you go to jail for that because we just read a couple stories tonight where people are going to jail. They're getting charged with it and they're going to be convicted. But the fact of the matter is that the Democrats have multiple ways of cheating. Like in Georgia, they found it was over, I think it was 10,000 people registered to vote using a post office box. That's illegal. You can't do that. You can rent a post office box and they're going to sell it to you. All right. But I mean, even UPS has UPS box, right? You can do that, but they don't know that you're doing it to register to vote. Right now, who would do that? Who would do that? People that want to cheat. So if a party says, look, we can go over and we can buy 10,000 post office boxes. George Soros gave us the money, right? We could do that. So let's do it. So they get these groups of people. They pay them $15 an hour. They go out and they fill out the forms and they buy all these post office boxes. Then they register them all to vote. They get 100,000 voters after, a few months. It's not hard to do. It's tedious, but that's what they do. And they got caught. So in its ruling Wednesday, the Fifth Circuit reversed the lower court's ruling entirely. Good. Finding the plaintiffs lacked standing on most of their complaints. Finally, the standing rule works against them instead of us. in a post on X, Ken Paxton, who's going to be the next senator, called the ruling a win, a major win, upholding election integrity and preventing voter fraud. It is. I don't give a shit what your lib nuts say. It is. My office will continue to defend Texas's critical law safeguarding our elections. Now, you remember, guys, like Texas is serious about this shit. All right, that's the end of it. Texas is serious. You remember the case during 2020 that Texas, that's not true. You remember the case that Texas filed during the 2020 election, the aftermath, right? And who's been kicked out of 109? The Jews? Yeah, no kidding. Like, here you go. Try to be a Jew and go into any Arab country over there. You can't. But the Jews have literally Arabs and Palestinians. They got everyone living as citizens. And they enjoy all the rights that Israelis do because they are Israelis and they love it there. They'll tell you, ask them. They'll tell you, yeah, we love it in Israel. It's awesome. You know, it's the only democracy around here. You know, people don't want to talk about that. They want to talk about how they were kicked out of 109. Why? Because they're Jews. The Arabs don't want Jews living in their countries. And you want to know something? That's their right, I think. That's their right if they don't want them. Cash wins. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah. Anglo, mate. I'm being very good. We love you here, Linda. That was the advice from the last psychologist I saw. I know you guys don't like Israel, all right? I don't like everything they do too, right? But I'll tell you why I still support them. Because behavior trumps ethnicity. Yeah. But the reason why is because they're this tiny little country the size of New Jersey, okay? And they've got everyone around them since before they could have possibly done any of the things that they're accused of today. After the 48 armistice agreements were signed, which no Arab nation agreed to them, but they signed them. They didn't want them, and they signed them, and they tried to do a genocide on their ass. Okay, and what could the Jews have done in one day that justified killing everyone? Because they told all the people that lived, all the Arabs that lived there, get out. We're going to slaughter everyone, then you can come back. And it didn't work out so well for them because they lost that war. And then when the people tried to come back, the Jews said, no. You just participated in an attempted genocide. I don't trust you. Get out. And when the people started going into their homes anyway, they bulldozed them down. But we only hear the other side of it. Oh, yeah, they bulldozed my house for no reason. That was a reason. Criticism of Israel. You know what? That is true. And you know what? You can criticize Israel. I criticize Israel. I just don't throw the bullshit criticisms. There's things that Israel has done and that they're still doing that I don't like. You know, but I'm not going to say that they eat Christian children's blood and matzo balls and all the dumb shit that other people do. Hold on. They wouldn't have a country without the West. That is true. That is true. But you want to know something? They have never once asked us for help. We've helped them. Oh, multiple, the Patriot system, all that stuff. They never once asked for it. Never once. And anytime we have to do something there, do people understand that Israel and the United States could have the same goal, but for different reasons, right? You could have the same exact goal, want to take out their nukes, right? But the other one could be, I got to get rid of terrorism because they're shooting rockets into my neighborhoods every single day for 4 years, right? That's different from us. I mean, I like to think about it. If Mexico started firing rockets into El Paso, Texas, every day, hitting neighborhoods, people's homes and shit, I don't think we'd put up with it that long. Israel put up with that shit for over a year. Then they finally said, fuck it, we're done. And they attacked. And then naturally an American president always steps in and goes, you know what, you Jews, man, Jesus Christ, you know, you guys are really overdoing it. You know, oh, really? They fired rockets at us for a year. We're overdoing it? You know, this is the pattern I see. Why is it so? Because they're just being all Jewish. Now, don't get me wrong. I know there's a hell of a lot of horrific things that the Mossad has done. I know there's a hell of a lot of horrific things that Bibi has done. And I don't support any of it. Believe me, I don't support any of that crap. But the people that are there. Huh?
The Mossad is very good at their job, but they have this tendency to have the ends justify the means, let's say.
Yeah. Let me put it this way, okay? We just talked to Anglo. Seriously, man. We just talked about how we like the Iranian people because they're good people for the most part. Okay, we like the Iranian people. We just don't like the fucking government. That's what I'm saying about Israel. I like the Israeli people who are peaceful and just want to live in peace. I don't like their government that does shady shit all in the name of protecting them. Because some of the shit that they did, I mean, I read Whitney Webb's book, okay? And some of the shit that they did is mind-boggling, right? Yeah, I know. Boom, right. I get it, right? And I don't like that shit either. But hold on. Growing up hearing 3 bombs. There you go. Well, you got, bombs today only makes me sad. Our soldiers got a yellow card and Israel got scorecards. I don't know what you mean by that. And guys, I'm not trying to defend Israel, the shitty things that they did. I mean, they blew up one of our ships, for goodness sake. So I didn't know it was yours. Let me see. Many Americans shouldn't have sold them so many guns. I don't know what we've sold them lately.
I don't know. They make plenty of their own guns.
Yeah, they do make plenty of their own. I mean, they're the ones that created the Uzi because they had to have urban warfare.
Yeah, the Uzi and the Galil.
Yeah, they had to do that. But we sell them a lot of arms, but we never gave. They always thought we gave them arms. No. And I'm going to tell you something. They never add. Yeah, the USS Liberty. Thank you. That's the one that they blew up. Yep, I thought it was the Lusitania. I don't know.
No, Lusitania was.
What was that? That went down, and the sharks ate them. Yeah. That was in Jaws. They mentioned that in Jaws. Yeah. All right. Let's get back, guys. We friends. Yeah. Oh, so don't think when I. Yeah, I know. Don't think when I talk about certain things that the Muslims do to the Israelis that I don't also understand. Let me put it this way. I think the Arabs started it first in 48 and then just went downhill from there. And the Jews are just, they're these particular people where they can't let you go. Like refused entry because it was a boat full of Jews. Yeah, they can't let it go because the way they think, I don't expect them to think like the West does, right? But what they do is they say, he was kicked out of 109 schools. What's up, Commander? You back? But it was never my fault. Yeah, but it's like the Jews have to defend themselves against a bunch of people that is just like millions and millions more than them, right? And I understood it up until the point when I heard the Mossad was doing shit with little kids and doing the sex stuff with Jeffrey Epstein and all that. That I don't agree with at all. And at one point, I could say, I'm not justifying it, but if you feel that all your neighbors are trying to annihilate you since the beginning of time, since the beginning of the armistice agreements in 48, right? Like, don't you have a right to defend yourself? And if they got to the point, like somebody went way overboard over there, and it wasn't Netanyahu, it was before he came in. Okay, and because they were doing that shit. I think Ben Gurion was doing that shit, but they were doing that shit like the crazy shit that you and I cannot understand, but they think it's normal, right? So I can fault Israel for a lot of stuff that they've done, but I do also understand, like they say, well, the blockade. Well, the blockades are there because the Palestinians would sneak weapons onto the boats that came in with all the aid that was bringing in. So they did the blockade so they could board the ships so that they didn't have rockets and firearms that were going to be used against Jewish people in their neighborhoods. We all know Rich has an affection for the Jays. I have my theories. I don't think he would defend Catholics in quite the same spirit. Sweetheart, I was born and raised a Catholic. Of course I would. But if somebody started shooting rockets at the Catholics, okay? Yeah, I think I would. Hold on. Let me see what 40 said. I would have drove a tank up the Falls Road myself unless you have lived under attack. Right. You have no idea what a reasonable act. Thank you. That's exactly what I was trying to say.
That's very true.
Yeah, exactly, man. It's like, I'm sorry, what do you say? CMDRI, I was kicked out of 109 pubs. Never mind. Yeah, you're exactly right, 40. Yeah, until you think, until it's an existential threat, you have no idea what you're willing to do. It's true. And guys, 40, you're a genius, man. You're really smart, because that is the entire reason that I would have sympathy for Israel, for the state, not for the government. I'm talking the people that live there, the people that get shit on all the time. Oh, I know. Wait a minute. I skipped over. Yeah, I know that. Yeah. Unless you're Palestinian. Yeah. Well, Palestinian, I don't even want to get into that. We're going to get back.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah, I'm going to get back to this. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to get back to this.
I mean, I think it's been a great conversation, but we need.
Yeah, it has. It has been. Yeah. What's that? Nice house you used to have. Who? I don't know what that meant, but okay.
Is that a threat?
I don't know. I don't think he's threatening, but
I wouldn't think he's threatening.
No, I don't think so either. He's been all right so far. If it's Nelson, he's doing a good job of not being Nelson. Let's put that. All right. One of my favorite writers at Town Hall, Kurt Schlichter. He's a U.S. Army. I think he's a lieutenant colonel or a colonel in the Army. I can't remember. But anyway, stop dooming. We're on the cusp of the golden age. So let's see. Let's bring it down a little. Yeah. Okay. Welcome back to the stream of courteousness. It's hot as hell in Houston today, so please excuse my sweaty mess today. After some great barbecue last night, I'm going to be shooting some guns with friends this afternoon. That's what Texans do. I saw 2 more Tallarico signs yesterday, but the reality is there still isn't any excitement around him. Meanwhile, the economy is starting to look better, and my 401k, he's got a 401k, is looking pretty nice. Inflation is down, jobs are up, oil's down, $80 a barrel. Jobs are up, and the stock market is performing. The vibes seem to be changing. I'm seeing more normal, happy, healthy people walking around town. I do here, too. Fewer mutants on the street is a sign that America may be healing. It took Reagan 2 years to turn the economy around, and he actually took heavy losses in the 82 election. The outlook Americans have on their country can change quickly. It feels like things are moving in the right direction as the midterms approach. Right, but I think Trump waited, too. Is that all there is? He didn't bloviate further?
He usually writes forever.
He writes forever. How about that? That's a first. Let me see what this says.
Hi, everybody. Kurt Schlichter here.
Oh, there.
Stream of courteousness, Town Hall VIP video just for you. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, why is he all sweaty and gross? Because I'm in Houston, and it's sweaty and gross here. It's like 180 degrees and 400% humidity.
Texas. He told
I
me it's
didn't
hot.
walk out to the garage today. I took a shower. It was amazing. Now, actually, what I'm doing is gathering up guns. Why am I gathering up guns? Because we're going shooting. It's a little family shoot. So that's kind of wholesome, all-American activity after having barbecue last night that one performs in Texas, which is why I like Texas. Now, when we last talked, I told you I had seen, 4, maybe 5 Tallarico signs. Yesterday, I saw 2 more. So that's like 7. Now, I have talked to some real Texans. I'm a Texan poser. I'm a Californian. And they're telling me they're not buying the Tallarico's going to win kind of thing. Tallarico's got a new poll. Well, there's a new poll out that actually has Paxton ahead, and that's the first one. I think as people start looking at this guy who's a vegan and a perverted weirdo and a blasphemous heretic, they're going to start thinking, maybe not. Maybe we'll go with Ken Paxton. So I'm feeling a little better about the race since I was here. I was always feeling good about it. But real Texans are like, it just isn't going to happen. And I'm not feeling the vibe that I felt with Beto. There were Beto signs everywhere. That creepy furry was very popular. This guy, who's the normal person who looks at him and goes, yeah. Now, Beto, good-looking guy, speaks well, kind of a commie, but, not a bad candidate. I think he did fairly well for a Democrat in Texas. Tallarico is literally everything that everyone hates. Now,
yeah, he is.
We saw what happened with Francesca Hong. I think the Democrats cheated to make her lose.
Of course they did.
Yeah.
Icing on the cake. The Democrat establishment not only cheating against Republicans, but now cheating against other Democrats to make sure the unelectable socialist doesn't get in.
Right.
Remember, she's the weirdo who doesn't like Thanksgiving or
right.
holidays in general, or America.
He's right, because they want a regular Democrat, a regular scumbag to go in there because the DSA people are just going to lose. Now,
Yeah,
maybe in deep blue cities and districts, yeah, they might win, but it's not enough to do anything to the country.
Yeah, conservatives wanted Francesca Hong to win.
Oh, yeah.
And definitely doesn't like you. So I'm kind of, I'm kind of over the whole socialist thing. I think, here's what I think. I think they are going to get crushed by the establishment, and I think they're going to get slowly absorbed by the establishment. I don't think they're going to win by winning elections, overnight. I think they're going to slowly come into power and moderate. And, AOC has kind of tried to moderate herself.
Yep.
Now, she's still an outright communist, but she's not coming out saying, we got to stop.
Oh, cool.
Christmas.
Then you should know Commander.
She's not doing
you all know
those
each other?
things that a lot of her loony friends do. And somebody, one of you VIP guys had a really good question for me about the defund the police thing and abolish prisons. Are we going to let Derek Chauvin out when we abolish prisons?
Yeah, really?
I wish somebody would ask that. That's
are we going to let Derek Chauvin out? He did nothing wrong.
And you know who you are. Congratulations. I don't want to.
We're not going to listen to the whole thing. Just.
That was a great question. Great point. Thanks for emailing me. Of course, at the bottom of my Wednesday VIP columns, and my Wednesday VIP column this week was really good. It was on polling. You have my super secret email, and you can send me stuff, and I do tend to read them. So anyway, I'm feeling better about a lot of things. Now I'm sitting here, and behind me is a computer, and it's got the stock market. And the stock market's up like 250 because inflation is down. I was hoping we would turn the corner on the economy about April. We got involved in the Iran war. That kind of threw a monkey wrench into a lot of things. I'm still for killing all the mullahs, obviously. But yeah, there was a price. There's a cost to these things. Things happen. So now the good economic news is starting to happen. Okay, jobs are better. Inflation is down. The stock market is up. I'm looking at my stocks. They're doing well. I'm starting to get a positive vibe. And I know I've talked about it before, but I think it's important. Walking around, okay, California and Texas, I'm seeing more normal, healthy, happy people. I'm not seeing as many weirdo mutants. And why is that important? Because weirdo mutant, the embrace of weird mutation and frankly ugliness, is a sign of a culture that is downing itself, that is depressed, that is miserable. Yes, there's always going to be the occasional goth. There's going to be the occasional weirdo. But at our age, and most of us are of age, we lived through times where people were healthy and happy. The 70s, the 80s, people in shorts.
What happened?
People, not marking their bodies up with weird tattoos or strange piercings. And I'm seeing a lot less of that stuff now. I think there are a lot of people regretting their tattoos. Tattoo is actually ancient Sumerian for future regret, which a lot of people don't know. But people are looking better and feeling better. And I think we're finally
That's like vegetarian means bad hunter, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We don't have to watch this anymore. We know what he's saying. Okay.
Yeah, it's an ancient Navajo word for bad hunter.
Yeah, exactly. Here's something I want to show. It's about Charlie Kirk.
That guy just confessed.
You could explain.
What guy?
Charlie Kirk murderer.
Yeah. Here we go.
Without using a single buzzword or a conservative talking point, what CRT is.
So you want to go back to Herbert Marcuse, the Frankfurt School, Michel Foucault, Jacques Derrida,
I want you to answer
man.
my question.
No, I'm just asking you, how far back do you want me to go?
I want you to explain what CRT is.
What CRT is comes out of critical theory, which came out of the Frankfurt School, which is a belief that there are systems that exist.
See, the lib nuts didn't realize that Charlie was actually a very intelligent guy. And he knew history. He knew the Bible. I mean, He knows politics. Well, he knew because he's dead.
Both institutionally and systemically, and that through critical theory, which also has critical law theory, through the changing of how we view society must be through a racial lens and not through economic lens or through a legal lens. And if you look very clearly at the writings of Marcuse, at the writings of Spinoza, especially in the early 1990s where this started to pop up, there was this idea that we must give preference based on the melanin content of people's skin, not on actions, not on choices. And instead, because America is so unequal, because it is so inequitable, that these writers and authors that were the beginning people that actually started this term critical race theory 50 or 60 years ago believed that this would be a true Marxist type movement that would help happen in this country. It was kind of fostered and started in many different universities across this country.
This girl did not. It's right. She underestimated Charlie Kirk because he is describing it to her, and she didn't want all that. She wanted something that she thought she could defeat.
Marcuse came from the Frankfurt School, and it really kind of comes back to the couple beliefs that CRT believes in to make it overly simple. Number one, that there is no such thing as absolute truth. That number two, power dynamics are more important than anything else. Number three, skin color should be something that has a top priority in how we characterize people and their worth and their dignity. Number four, that kind of American history and kind of how we teach it is completely wrong. Five, that America is systemically racist, and I could continue from that. That right there is a 35,000-foot view. Happy to go deeper, but that is the history of critical race theory, and it's evolved into terms of wokeism, diversity, equity, inclusion, the idea of America being systemically racist, 1619 Project. They're all outgrowths of the postmodern deconstructionist type viewpoint that started in the 1960s from Marcuse, who was a Marxist type believer in the Frankfurt School, was expelled, found domicile here in America, and implemented in our colleges. How'd I do?
How'd I do? I love that, man.
Yeah, and
that's awesome.
did you see her? You can't see her face because of the mask, but
yeah,
she obviously kind of.
She was overwhelmed.
She was a little bit deflated, but she actually looked like she was kind of smiling in that. It's like, wow, she had kind of a wow response.
Yeah. Hang on, let me see what else we got.
Okay.
All right, let's get on. Yeah, that was pretty good. Hold on, I got another one. Here we go. Marco Rubio on the circus. Here we go. Let's bring this one up. I'm glad the chat got a good thing going. There we go.
That's why you didn't get elected.
Regulated life. Do they need to be regulated?
Marco Rubio, the snake. Little frat boy here.
All right.
Yeah.
Who are you?
Yeah, sure.
Who are you?
You better hope you can deplatform. Tens of millions of views.
InfoWars.
Better than Rush Limbaugh. He knows who InfoWars is. Playing this joke over here. That's why the deplatforming didn't work.
But here's the question. Here's a question.
Don't touch me again, man. I'm asking you not to touch me.
Well, sure, I was just mad at you nicely.
I know, but I don't want to be. I don't know.
You want me to get arrested?
Who you are?
It's not just going to take my
get
First
arrested,
Amendment.
man.
It's
You're not
not
going to
just
get
enough to
arrested.
take my
I'll take
First
care of
Amendment.
myself.
Oh, he'll beat me up.
I didn't say that.
I know I am, but he's so mad. You're not going to silence me. You're not going to silence America.
But there are people.
You are literally like a little gangster thug.
There are people in this country.
Rubio just threatened to physically take care of me.
There are people who feel that they're being.
Poor Rubio.
I'm sorry. We gotta get.
Yeah, man. I got to go to the committee. You guys can talk to this clown.
Put the thing on so you can hear this. That's why you didn't get elected.
Yeah, Alex Jones lately. Wow.
What was that? What the hell
was Alex
was
Jones? That was
that?
Alex
Well,
Jones.
I know it's Alex Jones, but what the hell was that?
Well, Alex Jones, and I don't know when was it. I don't even know when that was. Yeah, I don't know when that was.
What was he busy trying to get in?
I think he was still a
Rubio's face
senator
for
when
some
that
reason?
happened. What's that?
He was busy trying to get in Rubio's face there for some reason.
Yeah,
and
for
embarrass
some
him,
weird reason.
or just like it was like, what the heck was going on?
Yeah,
And it was like Rubio, in his job, he's got to know who Alex Jones is, and it was like he was saying he didn't know who he was.
Yeah,
The whole thing was just very, very odd.
It was very weird. But Alex Jones, when the war in Iran started, when all those, let's see, when Candace and who else was it? There was a bunch of influencers that turned on Trump because what was going on in Iran, thinking, yeah, he broke his promises, started a new war. No, he didn't. He was ending a war. The fucking Iranian regime started a war in 47 years ago in 1979 with us, and they killed over 1,000 Americans in that time, and Trump's ending that war. You know, every president since Carter kicked the can down the road, and now Trump has to handle it. All right? So I don't know. Let's just move on.
That was just weird.
Yeah, it was weird. But Alex Jones turned when all the rest of them turned on Trump. So did Alex Jones. Alex Jones, I watched him, and he said, because I used to watch InfoWars, and he said, we all know that Donald Trump is now having signs of dementia. We saw it in Biden. Now we're seeing it in Trump. And I'm sitting there going, wait a minute. You're not seeing anything like that in Trump. I don't see that. Trump can give a 2-hour speech without a friggin' teleprompter still, right? I was like, what are you talking about? And he just kept going on and on, talking about how Trump this and Trump that. Suffering contest, you win. What's that? Having family raped by Germans hasn't affected me at all. Oh, wow. Okay. Sorry, I didn't know that. America should comment when they have 1,400 years of Anglo-Saxon history. Yeah. So maybe figure out nobody has a monopoly on suffering and look at things from a human angle. Yeah. Yeah. So what do you mean America should who's commenting? America should comment when they have 1,400 years of Anglo-Saxon history. Okay, well, we came from you guys, so I don't think we would ever have the amount of history you guys have. So that's what I strive to do. Cool. That's good.
I'm kind of interested in the Kremlin hit on a U.S. citizen.
What happened?
I'm kind of interested in this one. The Kremlin orders a hit on a U.S. citizen.
Yeah. We'll do that one now. You gotta wonder why. Who knows? All right, so here we go, guys. Pay attention. I'm asking questions later. Kremlin orders hit on U.S. citizen in Europe. Poland foiled it just in time. Do you notice that Poland and those Eastern Bloc type countries, that they're not taking any immigrants in? Did you know that? Because they went through, 80 years of communism under Soviet rule, and they're like, never again. We ain't falling for that shit. No, we ain't letting it happen. We'll die first. So Poland's government announced on Thursday that the authorities arrested a Russian man who planned to assassinate a Ukrainian-American citizen at the behest of the Kremlin. This comes amid multiple Russian plots to assassinate individuals the Kremlin believes are a threat. From NBC News, Poland arrested a Russian man who was hired by Moscow to kill a Ukrainian-American citizen in Warsaw, Poland. Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk. There's a name. Donald Tusk. Does he have wavy hair? And yeah, the Russian was detained on August 7 and had been recruited to kill a man who was inconvenient to the Putin regime. Wow. The Russian embassy in Warsaw did not immediately respond to an emailed request for comment. Moscow has regularly dismissed accusations by European powers of attacks, saying the West is stoking anti-Russian paranoia. Quote, thanks to the truly brilliant actions of our services, we detained a Russian citizen recruited by Russian intelligence services. The Russian had been hired to kill a man who had both Ukrainian and U.S. passports, Tusk said, without giving any more information. At the last minute, thanks to the action of internal security agency and the police, we managed to prevent this execution, this attack. Well, that's a good thing, isn't it? That's the whole thing. We're not watching that. Okay. The identity of the intended victim has not been revealed yet. This comes after German authorities thwarted a Russian intelligence operation aimed at assassinating Stefan Thuman, an executive at drone manufacturing company Stahl. See out. The company provides reconnaissance and FPV drones to the Ukrainian military as it works to repel the Russian invasion. Well, isn't that special? All right. What'd you think of that? Here, let's see. Transgender who fled.
Yeah, let's play that one.
Yeah. Here we go. Transgender American who fled the country over Trump admits it was a dumb move. Of course it was. Talk about the no Sherlock story of the summer. When you're infected with Trump derangement syndrome and immersed in the liberal news bubble, which is racked with misery, COVID, and oppression that isn't real. You might flee your home country to seek refuge in Europe, where things are supposedly better, only to find out the hard way they're not. It's a hellhole where more people have died from heat-related illnesses than from U.S. gun deaths because they're adverse to air conditioning over global warming nonsense. Wow, really? You guys are reversed air conditioning? So at least this transgender wannabe refugee can admit the obvious now. That individual is back now, of course, admitting it was a dumb decision. Here we go. A transgender American who fled the U.S. in a huff at President Trump's reelection has been, what did they think that would do? You know, has been forced to return home to escape a notorious European asylum center, admitting that leaving was the dumbest thing I've ever done. Software engineer Jane Michelle Ark, probably named Frank at birth, 48, returned home to California after failing to win asylum in the Netherlands. Good. And discovering life in the notorious Ter Apel, okay, refugee camp was far more terrifying than anything under Trump's America. Quote, this is the dumbest thing I've ever done. I love it. I got to admit it. Ark previously admitted to The Guardian of the wildly stupid decision to flee. Quote, I hear a lot of people saying, you are an idiot. You came here from America. People did tell me, did you think about moving to California? Then I say, well, I lived in San Francisco. And then they go, oh, that's a heaven for gay people. The situation I have in the U.S. as a trans person, not good, right? But here, I will be hurt or killed. Yeah, but you got all those Muslims up there too. The area, I don't know if those countries took them in or not. I don't know. The area around the camp, the largest in the Netherlands, was declared. Where's Bass when you need him? Was declared a safety risk zone following a series of stabbings and fights, according to a letter from the Dutch government reported by the NL Times. Wow. So he found the error of his ways. Awesome.
Okay, no, this has got to be good about the sports betting.
Yeah.
That one's got to be
That's
good.
John Nolte. I was just about to read that too.
Yeah.
There we go. This is great, guys.
This has got to be good.
Yeah, it's John Nolte. I like him, but what is this? Why did you? All right. Nolte, 52% of Gen Z morons have moved money from investments to sports betting, because that's going to work. A majority of idiots in Gen Z have moved money out of investments and into sports betting account. 26% of Gen Z say they treat sports betting as a deliberate, ongoing component of their financial plans, according to Bloomberg report. Wow. That 26% compares to 14% of millennials and just 6% of Generation X. And 1% of boomers, because we're not stupid. All right. Sports betting is increasingly competing with traditional investing for younger Americans' attention, adds Bloomberg, with more than a quarter of Gen Z investors saying they see gambling on sports as part of their long-term financial strategy. Gambling as a long-term strategy. The stupid, it hurts. The report is based on a survey from the personal finance outlet Betterment, and also shows that 36% of Gen Z does not participate in sports betting. Well, that's good. Hang on. Let me see. So one person interviewed said that he wagers only $100 at a time, that's all, and netted about $2,500 so far this year. Quote, I think I'm just smarter about it, he said about his gambling. I'm not just doing it as a hobby. Okay. Then you lose as a professional. This is pure idiocy, man. What's pure idiocy is putting all these ads in. What's going on with Breitbart, man? Gambling is nothing more or less than a tax for being retarded. You want to piss away your money? Gamble. You want to build a foundation of financial peace of mind? Invest it wisely in a diversified stock portfolio. Sock away as much money as you can every year. Write your mind that this money is about long-term growth. Leave it there. Leave it alone. Another form of gambling is day trading stocks. Do people not understand that gambling outlets are specifically designed to make money, and that the only way they make money is when you lose money? Same with casinos. Same with slot machines. The system is legally rigged so the house wins. A recent survey of 700,000 online gamblers found that only 4% came out ahead. Of the more than 7,000 gamblers that were studied, 96% appeared to lose money to online gambling. Of course, survey reveal. I can't understand how you can do online gambling if it's like an application. Because I am a programmer and I can write an app that will do any damn thing you pay me to get it to do. Right?
But Rich, a lot of these online gambling platforms, I believe, refer back to sporting events and such.
Yeah. They say they're going to sporting events probably because of that. Yeah. But I'm just saying, what I never understood is guys like they'll go online and they'll bet, like they'll play slots online. What? Just write a check and send them your money. You don't even have to pay. Just cut out the fun, right? Only 4% made money from online betting. That is by design. Online gambling platforms often ban or throttle frequent winners' accounts. There is no right to gamble. That's what they'll say. In short, a second study revealed only a very small minority of online sports gamblers, often cited around 3 to 5%, are consistently profitable. That means roughly 95% or more of bettors lose money over the long haul. In 2023 alone, Americans wagered $119.84 billion on sports, and sports books kept $10.9 billion in revenue. That's the house profit. The study adds, those profits are essentially the sum of bettors' losers, a hold of roughly 9% of all money wagered. This is the house edge at work, grinding away at bettors' bankrolls. The problem is that dumb people believe they're in that golden 4% who come out ahead. But let me assure you that those lucky 4% are not the same people year after year. Recreational gambling is one thing. Sure, I've gone to Vegas a couple times with a specific amount of money I was willing to lose and then lost it. But to use gambling as an income generator and investment strategy to loot the investment accounts that actually do pay off over time, pure idiocy. Look at that. Right. The ultimate endorphin rush is reaching retirement age and knowing that over a lifetime of grinding, you have saved enough to live on comfortably. Yes, that's true.
Yes, please. That's what I'm doing now.
That's what I've been doing for the last 40 years. So what do we miss here? Are we planning to kill the... Everybody suffers. That's true. Let's see. Poland aren't messing. That's right. Let me see. Got to go. Oh, man, take care. Stop by again every Friday night. 6 o'clock Eastern. Maybe see. All right, brother. Tell some friends. Russians have an identity problem. Slavs, Huns, and Mongols. Yeah, exactly. In the human angle, let's see. Muppets game gambling. No, Mr. Simpson. What you need is financial planner. Yeah, financial planners. My financial planner told me that if I retired tomorrow, I could live like a king so long as I died by next Wednesday.
Yeah, there you go.
So Dave's Waffle House mentioned it. Hunter's sister. Okay. I've seen it elsewhere, Hunter. Okay. My gambling consists of taking money out of my right pocket and putting it in my left pocket. Still a risk. I might lose money during that transfer. That's funny. Another form of usury, which was created by who, Anglo? Tell me. We must drive. What is it? We must drive the money lenders from the temples. Yes. Well, if they're in the temples, they need to be driven out. Yeah. Well, exactly. I agree. Let's do. Let me see something. Hold on. Oh, what's this?
Welcome to the Blackout, California. Do we really care about California?
Well, it's going to be fun to see them suffer. Not the people like Bobby, who we no longer know because he's not here anymore. But yeah, I haven't seen him in weeks. Let's see. There we go.
They need to go down the history books for this one.
Dr. Verma, I wasn't sure I understood your answer to Senator Moody a moment ago. Do you think that men can get pregnant?
I hesitated there because I wasn't sure where the conversation was going or what the goal was. I mean, I do take care of patients with different identities. I take care of many women. I take care of people with different identities. And so that's where I paused. Yeah, I wasn't sure where you were going with that.
Well, the goal is just the truth. So can men get pregnant?
Again, the reason I paused there is I'm not really sure what the goal of the question
The goal is just to establish a biological reality. You just said a moment ago that science and evidence should control, not politics. So let's just test that proposition. Can men get pregnant?
I take care of people with many identities, but
Can men get pregnant?
Many women that can get pregnant. I do take care of people that don't identify as women. That
Can men get pregnant? Do science and evidence tell us that men can get pregnant? Biological men, can they get pregnant?
I also think yes/no questions like this are a political tool. And
No, yes/no questions are about the truth, doctor. Let's not make a mockery of this proceeding. This is about science and evidence. And I'm asking you, the United States Supreme Court just heard arguments yesterday at great length on this question. This is not a hypothetical question. This is not theoretical. It affects real people in their real lives. And you're here as an expert, called by the other side as an expert. And you've been telling us that you follow, right, you're a doctor, and you follow the science and the evidence. So I just want to know, based on the science, can men get pregnant?
I am a person of science, and I'm also someone here who's here to represent the complex experiences of my patients. And I don't think polarized language or questions serve that goal. I don't think they serve the American people.
It is not polarizing to say that there is a scientific difference between men and women. And I want this to be clear and for the record. It is not polarizing to say that women are a biological reality and should be treated and protected as such. That is not polarizing. That is truth.
Dr. Verma doesn't deserve a license. I mean, really, how can she sit there in the name of science and not understand the difference between a man and a woman? I mean, you want to talk.
Well, we have someone on the Supreme Court that couldn't define what a woman was during her confirmation hearing.
About introducing politics into science. This is all they're doing, and it's got to stop. Josh.
Yeah, exactly. It's just got to stop. I got another one lined up. Let's go. It's not white people with the obsession. All right.
When you're black, you're never really lonely because there will always be a white person all up in your business.
This TikTok says, she looked at me like I missed the whites only sign. Every single time I hear this TikTok sound, it is a white person who is quite literally just not wanting to be in your video or looking at you because you are filming a video or you're doing something outlandish. It is never, in my experience, been a white person who is going out of their way to step into somebody's business, to assert their whiteness, or to say anything about your blackness or anything racial in nature. It seems like you are far more obsessed with white people than they are with you. And you are so dug into this oppressor narrative that every time you see a white person, you think that they want something to do with you or that they're trying to get into your business, when in reality, they are just going about their day, probably seeing somebody filming and going, what is that girl doing? Or simply not wanting to be in your video or your business at all. It's almost like these people get off on hating on white people.
When you're black.
Oh, jeez. That's crazy, right?
But it's true.
Yeah, it's true. 100%. Yeah, it is true. Let me see. What else? I got another one. Gee, come on. What's this one? Warning to American churches. Here we go. I'm telling you, man, they're trying to take everything down here.
This was warning to American churches 15 years ago. Check this out.
The church in America is going to suffer so terribly. And we laugh now, but they will come after us. They will come after our children.
They already did.
They will close the net around us while we are playing soccer mom and soccer dad, while we are arguing over so many little things and mesmerized by so many trinkets. The net even now is closing around you and your children and your grandchildren, and it does not cause you to fear. You will be isolated from society, as has already happened. Anyone who tries to run for office who actually believes the Bible will be considered a lunatic until finally we are silenced. We will be called things that we're not and persecuted, not for being followers of Christ, but for being radical fundamentalists who do not know the true way of Christ, which of course is love and tolerance.
Think about how they talk about those Christian nationalists, right? They don't even know what a Christian nationalist is in the United States, but that's those Christian nationalists. We got to get rid of them. And then everybody's a Christian nationalist all of a sudden. Everyone who's Christian, you're now a Christian nationalist.
You'll go down as the greatest bigots and haters of mankind in history.
Hold on. Anglo, brother, thank you, man. Another excellent stream. Hope I didn't piss you off, brother. You know I love you, right? Thank you, brother. Thank you. Fine, I'll build my own casino. Blackjack. Yeah, just hook up with a Native American and you'll be able to get in. Oh, let's see. Let's play the rest of it.
They've already come after your children, and for most of you, they got them.
Yep.
They got them through the public schools and indoctrination and the university and indoctrination, and then you wonder why your children come out not serving the Lord, because you fed them right into the devil's mouth. So little by little, the net is closing around, and then it's not little by little. Look how fast things are going downhill just in a matter of weeks.
This was warning to America.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? And he was right, because it happened. Think about the Biden administration. If you were praying outside an abortion clinic and you were 500 feet or something like that, so many feet, and you were within that distance, you still got arrested. They would take you in. I voted for a guy that ran against Brian Fitzpatrick, and he was that guy, if you remember, the one that they made a big story out of. They had like 8 children, he and his wife, and they brought like 6 black USVs up to his house and arrested him because he grabbed and pushed back one of the abortion workers because they were within the required amount of feet, and his son was with him. And his son was like down there and he was here. And the worker went over to his son and attacked his son. So he went over, like, I don't give a damn who, I don't care who you are. You attack my kid, a little kid, I'm going to attack you, right? So that's what happened. And then the Biden administration tried to make it a big thing. Look at us. We have one of those crazy Christians that attacked one of our abortion workers. How could they murder children if they got to go to the hospital or something, right? Berg got arrested for it in England. Really? Wow. That's crazy, man. By bird, you mean a woman, right? You guys still use that? All right. Yeah, Berg got arrested. Okay. Sorry. Ever see the vid with the black lady who moved into a white neighborhood? She loves living there. Nice and quiet, no crime, and everybody's very friendly. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, there's been at least 2 videos from her.
Yeah, I've seen that. I have neighbors that just bought a house next to me, and they're Indian. And the first thing they did that we know of, right? The first thing they did is they thank you, brother. I appreciate it. That's what I thought, but I didn't know if that was like an old slang term. But yeah, so they're Indian and they built like the boxes, the bed boxes, the grow boxes where you plant your vegetables and all that. They did a pretty good job too. When the guy mows the lawn, he waves high, so they're not like a-holes, but they're right off the boat because I think the man speaks a little bit of English. And the women, I don't think they speak any English at all. So we don't really deal with them. Let's do a couple more. Let me see. Hold on. I think I got another one handed to me. Yep. Let's see. That was a good one.
JD Vance calls on DOJ to prosecute.
I want to do this other one. Yeah, I will in a sec. Let me play this one too. This is good. You ready? It's called "What Would You Do?" Here we go.
Now, this is just absolutely crazy. Have you ever seen anything like this? And if this happened to you, what would you do? Let me know.
CVS up here on Pendleton Pike, and I said I wanted to get me something to drink, so I pulled over here to Dunkin' Donuts, and I got me a drink, and they told me my order was $5.44, and so I look on here, and they charged me 82 cents for a tip. I don't care about the 82 cents, but the point is you can't take somebody's money
right
without.
I agree.
If they didn't give it, you can't just automatically take it.
That's right.
Not on the tip, you can't. I tapped.
Since when do we tip on a drive-through? It's like tipping is everything everywhere now. What the hell?
My card, and I looked at the receipt, and I'm glad I asked for the receipt, but you can't just charge or takes for a tip. So I'm sitting in the drive-thru and I ain't moving because they can see he's sitting there ignoring me. The lady came back to the window and asked me what's up. She went and told him, and they're ignoring me now. And so I'm kind of pissed because how do you just take somebody's tip?
Right. That's the point of it.
I got charged a tip. Don't what? No, I'm not putting my phone down. That's just how I record what happened here. I want my money back. I just want what was taken. I'm not giving the receipt back either. It's my proof.
Right.
You took.
I take a picture of it. Take a picture. Dude.
Okay,
You did. It's right there. Yeah. Take the picture.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, let's slam the door. Screw you.
But they don't want you to record. He said,
Right.
"Come out." He's not. I can't record.
Right.
But I took a
That
picture
is
of it.
something. They put a tip on there. Now I know with a lot in a lot of restaurants now they say here's what it would be at 15%, at 20%, at 25%. That's okay because they're still not taking it out on you. You know, that's crazy.
I don't understand how they just take money. And
Yeah, I agree with him.
I don't get that shit. That shit pisses me off, and he know he dead wrong.
Yep.
How do you just take somebody's money?
Right.
Whatever it is, and if they doing that on
They
a daily
took the
basis
money,
to
man.
everybody, that's crazy.
No,
that's crazy.
You can't start doing that.
You charged me 80. I tapped. You said it was 540 something, and I looked at it. I'm looking at the receipt right now, sir. It says charge tips 82 cents. That's what it says. Charge tips 82 cents. My bill was only 540 something with tax.
Yeah.
It was 544 with tax. You charged me 82 cents when my total bill came up to be 626. You can't just take tips. That's fine. I'm gonna put you on Facebook and let everybody know.
Now this is just
Love that, man. I'm gonna put you on Facebook and let everybody know.
I saw something the other day where a guy pulled up to Shake Shack,
right?
And he says, "Watch this," and he ordered couple of things, and he says, "Okay, if we put a tip in there," and then he did the same thing again, and didn't put a tip in, and he got a splash screen that said, the price has gone up on several items that you ordered, and it went. They'd added 50 cents to every. He ordered 3 things. So in other words, if you don't leave a tip, it bumps.
They charge you more. You know what I would have done? Walked right out. I'd have bought food somewhere else or whatever they were buying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about sending a message. It's not about the money.
that.
He even said, he goes, it's not about 82 cents.
Yeah, I mean, nobody cares about the 82 cents.
Right.
Well, that's the other thing. That's
exactly.
the other thing. I completely object to tipping.
I don't.
They pay the servers properly, and we wouldn't have to worry about that.
Yeah, but see, the problem with that is I was in the food service industry for like 10 years. And yeah, I don't see it. What I made was, I think it was $1.79 per hour.
Oh, back in the day, it was like
$2.79 per hour because you got tips. But see, I would make, like, I was a young strapping lad back then, and I would make like $400 a week when I worked at a Pizza Hut. I made tons of money there. I really did. And well, they do no tax on tips now, but I would never fathom. Tip stands for to ensure promptness.
Yeah,
that's what it stands for, right? And you used to tip in advance before the meal, and then people said, "Wait a minute, I gave the guy a tip, and he was a lousy waiter, so I'm going to wait till afterward." That's what they did.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would never agree to that. Yeah, I would do what he did. Just, you know.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I don't object to tipping because that's the way the system works.
Right.
Or excuse me. No, I object to tipping. But when I go to a restaurant, we always leave a proper tip because that's the way the system is designed.
Right.
But I object to it because there shouldn't be such capriciousness. Pay the workers, pay the servers.
I have a different outlook on that. Yeah, because if they're going to get tips, that's money that they're earning anyway, you know, from their job. So I don't know. I know that restaurants, like the number in America, the number one thing, and I know this because I used to work for AT&T, and we did a thing on bankruptcies and whatnot. The number one, what do you think the number one shop that gets bankrupt is?
I'm not quite sure what you mean.
Florist.
Number one shop.
Florist shops are the first. They're the number one business that goes bankrupt.
Oh, that they
Florist.
open and shut.
Right. Oh, yeah, florist. Yes.
Florist,
The second are restaurants. Most restaurants fail.
Yeah,
You know.
and you know that just by looking around your own community.
Oh yeah.
Restaurants pop
But
up.
most restaurants in America fail.
Yeah,
They
restaurants
do.
pop up and go away.
Right. And the reason why, it's because of the same thing as florists. Like if you have a bunch of flowers that you bring in, you bought them to sell to your people, right? And you don't sell them. Well, what happens? Well, you got to get insurance on that. So now you're going to get money back for insurance, but the money for insurance costs you, right? So what good is it?
Yeah.
You know, because if they die, nobody's going to buy them, right? So what you do is you build them up around, you know, Christmas, Easter, Mother's Day, you know, stuff like that. Well, the same thing with food. Food only lasts so long; it's perishable, right? So if you don't sell enough food because some other restaurant opened up down the street and everybody's going there now, all right, you can go bankrupt because you just lose all that.
Well,
all
like
that
I
money.
say, in our own communities, you just look around. There's always restaurants popping up and going down.
Yeah, I always tip if. Let me put it this way: I always tip if the service is good. If the service is mediocre, I'll give them 15% instead of 20. If the service is lousy, I'll walk out and tell them don't eat yellow snow. That's my tip.
That's your tip.
You know? Yeah.
JD Vance calls on DOJ.
Yeah, I just want to get through these. And you absolutely don't tip in Bali or you will get mocked. Really? Oh wow, I'll bet. Yeah. Tips aren't normal here. You know what? When a lot of Europeans came over for the cup, they were saying that in their videos. They're like, the tipping is insane here. Like, but we don't care because the food's good, you know. Now, 40 said to me a couple of weeks ago, what the hell is up with your country and its food? I didn't know what he meant, and I hope you're still here to answer that. But I didn't know what he meant. Anglo, do you know what he meant? He's like, what the hell is up with your food here? Because most people don't complain about the food. I'll tip good. Yeah, good man. Yeah, I do too. Lousy service? Nah. Occasionally I tip the pizza delivery guy, but I keep it sporadic.
Yeah, if I'm for some reason not going to leave a tip, I make sure to call the manager and let him know why.
Yeah. Well, normally I tip. Yeah, because you know why? That person could have had a really lousy day. They shouldn't be working, but they have to because they got to make money, right? But they could have had a lousy ass day. So if I got my food and I didn't wait too long, you know, or they forgot to bring my napkin, you know, something like that, I'm still going to tip. But if they're just like I had a big Aunt Jemima waffle eating looking bitch who was a waitress for me. And I asked her, I said, well, you know, you didn't get this. And she literally yelled, eat my, like out loud. And everybody went, what? You know, and I was like, oh, wow. I was like, oh, wow. And I looked over to the manager. I go, did you hear that? And he like turns his head because he was afraid of her. She's a linebacker looking thing, right? And yeah, seriously. And I'll never forget. And that was in a Denny's. You know, that was in a Denny's that I was in. And she yelled at. It was like at the hour of night where, you know, the bars closed down. You want to get something to eat. So you go to Denny's, right? Because they were open 24/7. Yeah. But so, and there was no way I tipped her, you know. And she would be the first one. Why did you tip me? You know, like, well, yeah, look in the mirror, bitch. Obviously, if you have a good restaurant, you will encourage them to stay. Yeah, exactly. We have a new place around here, and it's new for us. It's called First Watch, and they only serve breakfast and lunch. That's it. But you fight to get in there because the food's so good. In fact, we might go tomorrow. No, I'm not going to go tomorrow. No. I have to work tomorrow. Tips. Can you believe I got to work all weekend again? Tips should remain with buyer's choice. Yes. And it is. You're looked down upon, but it is. One time when I was in Pizza Hut, there was this young football team that came in. They won a championship. And so their coach, I don't want to seem racist. It was an all black kid team. They were all really sweetheart kids and all, right. And they brought them in. And we built the tables up, long table, and they gave them to me. Like the people gave me their table because I was able to handle large tables, right? There were probably 30 people there. Okay. So it took away a lot of time for me, right? Because I had to wait on them and all the pizzas get out. I couldn't have other tables and all. So, and the coaches were they were cool. They were nice, you know, oh man, thank you. You know, we're talking and all. And I was talking to the kids. So what'd you do? You know, and all that. And it was a great time. And then there was no tip. And I had never done this before, but I went up to like all the kids got out, they got on the bus, and the two guys that came over, thank you very much. And I just said, excuse me, did I do something wrong? And the guy's face dropped. He goes, the coach, he goes, what do you mean? And I said, never mind. And I said, thank you, have a nice day. And I started to turn around. He goes, no, son, tell me what happened. He goes, is there no tip? And I went, yeah. And he goes, follow me, because he tipped me. And one of the kids stole it. So he goes out to the bus and he goes, everybody get your ass off this bus. And they all lined up. And he goes, who took the money? He goes, who took the money? He goes, guys, if I got to go through your pockets and I find it, you're off the team. This one kid had to put his head down and he pulled the money up and he handed it to me. He goes, Rich, I'm really sorry. He goes, they're good kids. They just come from a really shitty place. And he goes, they just won a championship. He goes, I don't know why he did it. And I was like, I'm not going to call the police. He's a juvenile. It's all right. And I was like, and normally I don't do that. But I said, but I liked you guys. You guys were like great. You were great customers. Right? Because a lot of times when you're in food service, people are not nice to you because you're talking about their food and they don't like waiting. And, there's just a whole million things they can give you a hard time on. But they were really cool. And he's like, he shook my hand. He goes, thanks for understanding. I said, it's all right. He goes, I'll take care of him. I'm like, don't go too hard. He's a kid. He goes, that's when you got to go hard. I'm going to tell his parents. I was like, all right, cool. Thank you. Yeah,
it's like if a meteorite is heading towards the Earth, the best time to change its trajectory
stick around
when it's far, far away. You don't wait till it gets close. You got to do it when it's young.
Exactly. I got another video. And this is, remember I talked earlier about Promethean action? Okay. This girl is Barb, and then there's Susan K. But I want you to watch this. It's called 2 Keys to Trump's Economic Miracle. Okay. And what do you hear? Because these women don't mess around. They've been doing this. They've run Promethean action for about 25 years. And they know what they're doing. And they're really smart. And now they're finally getting a lot of recognition. Let me say, good move by Trump, stopping tax on. Yeah. And you know what? He's going to do it with Social Security too. I just think he needs to get the votes. And I don't think he has them yet. Who would not vote for that? Okay, is this up? Yeah, okay. So let's play.
President Ronald Reagan's pursuit of a defense against nuclear war using advanced physical principles like lasers collapsed the Soviet economy. Why? Under communism, the backward Soviet labor force was incapable of rapidly producing the technology at scale, even if Soviet science invented it. Their new defense mobilization after Reagan announced the SDI killed their economy.
Yep.
Post-war American capitalism, which outsourced our productive economy and shattered years of technological experience in our labor force, set the United States up for the same type of collapse that is before Donald Trump. The rapid absorption and reproduction of new scientific discoveries and frontier technologies is the hallmark of the unique American system of political economy of Hamilton, Lincoln, and McKinley, and now Trump.
Yep.
2 things are required. 1 is ready access to long-term, low-interest capital investment. As important, you need scientific revolutionaries and a technologically trained and prosperous labor force.
Yep.
Breaking the hold of globalist finance on our economy and reshoring our industry creates the first condition. The Trump administration is now addressing the second. On July 21st, the Trump administration issued the program, Science, A New Golden Age. In Part 4, the president's science advisor, Michael Kratsios, calls for a crash drive to upskill the labor force for our future. President Ronald Reagan.
Yep. What's going on? I was talking about earlier, the civ cosmology, the civilizational cosmocracy. I'm sorry. And that's basically what she was just talking about, that you have to have that. And it goes back to AI. I know you guys hate AI, but whoever wins the AI war wins the century. That's just a fact. And you have to have those 3 things, the theopolitics, the military politics, and the astropolitics, because that's what's going to win the century. And it's all with AI. So
yeah, that's Steve Turley's.
Yeah. I'm reading his book. Exactly.
Civcosm. You're reading the book?
Oh, I'm reading it. Yeah. I'm reading it now. Yeah. Let me see. Here's one more.
Yeah. JD Vance calls on DOJ.
All right. Let me play this last video and then we'll do that. I promise. I got this last video I'm going to play. Hang on.
Last week, you said last video for the last 4 or 5.
That's fine. Kiss my Irish ass.
Since this woman, she's so spot on. Check this out.
Pay attention, please, because this is not the Middle East. This is Houston, Texas, 2026. People marching, holding up these beautiful signs, stand beside the oppressed. Hussein stood against injustice. So moving, right? So peaceful.
No.
Except I'm Iranian and I know exactly what I'm looking at. In America, you need to wake up, buddy, because you are looking at a Trojan horse. Let's do a quick history lesson here. Before 1979, Iran was a powerhouse. We were free. Women were judges, doctors. We had music. We had life.
Yeah.
Tehran was called the Paris of the Middle East. Then came the Islamic Revolution, and it did not start with guns. It started with marches just like this one, slogans about justice. And then, boom, hijab became the law. Music was banned. 9-year-old girls could be married off. The real oppression began, all in the name of the exact same religion on those sides. But let's go back even further. How do you think Iran became Muslim in the first place? Did they just politely hand out pamphlets? No, of course not. In the 7th century, the Arab Islamic conquest invaded Persia. They destroyed a 1,000-year-old Zoroastrian civilization. They burned libraries. They forced conversions or made people pay a tax just to stay alive.
Or killed them.
They did the same thing to Egypt. Egypt was Christian, for God's sake.
Yep.
The Copts were conquered, subjugated, and erased. This is not a religion just peacefully hanging out. Historically, it is an ideology of conquest. And these signs about Hussein and Karbala, let's talk about the actual Battle of Karbala in 680 AD. It was not some noble fight for human rights. It was a political power struggle. Hussein and Yazid were fighting over the land, over the caliphate, over who got to rule the empire. And by the way, Karbala is not some barren desert where they were dying of thirst for no reason. It sits right between two rivers. The whole romanticized victim story, political propaganda designed to keep people mourning and compliant. My people were not told the truth, but we tried to warn you. The late Shah of Iran warned the West decades ago. Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi has been shouting this from the rooftops. The Islamic Republic's ideology does not stay in the Middle East. It exports itself. Look at Europe. It is already a mess. Parallel legal system, neighborhoods where secular law doesn't even apply anymore. The cultural and demographic shift is already happening there. And now it's in Houston, in our backyard. I believe in the Constitution. I believe in freedom of speech, but the Constitution does not protect ideologies whose stated goal is to conquer and replace the Constitution.
Right.
We banned communism for trying to overthrow the government. Why are we blind to political Islam doing the exact same thing?
You know why? Because we have been conditioned by the libnuts that is Islamo-fascism, that you're an Islamophobe. Like this whole phobe thing. Nobody wants to be called a racist, right? But we're coming out of that.
It's because of Donald Trump. We don't care anymore.
I think it's because of Donald Trump. Number one, if everybody's a racist, then nobody's a racist. Okay? When we went through that bullshit with the woke stuff after St. George Floyd, right? When they were saying things like, well, toothpaste is racist. Why? Well, because it helps whiten your teeth. That makes it racist. Highways are racist. We had a fucking transportation secretary of transportation tell us.
Who said that? Yeah.
Pete Buttigieg. Yeah, he told us that shit. That highways were everything was racist. You know, Snow White was racist. So they came out with a Snow White with a black Snow White. I mean, it was crazy. She's right. We've been conditioned to believe that we can't stop the Islam. Look what's happening to our brothers in Europe right now. Look what's happening because their leaders, I'm sure if it was up to the 40s and the Anglos, that shit would have never happened, but it's up to their leaders, and their leaders are a bunch of pussies who are taking money and were afraid. And see, they're in stage 2. I keep saying this. We're in stage 1. They're in stage 2. Stage 2 is you have enough to be able to get elected. That's what they're starting to do now. They're starting to get elected here. But you know what? I think we're going to stop it. What do you want to say?
What did I want to say? Yes, we've been conditioned towards tolerance right from the beginning in this country. First Amendment. Oh, yes, freedom of speech and freedom of religion. And, people have interpreted that to mean anybody can do anything and say anything without any consequence, which is not what it means.
I know. It's not what it means. Let me finish this up. It's a few more.
They conquered Persia. They conquered Egypt. They took my beloved Iran in 1979, and now they are marching in America, holding signs about justice, while the regime they represent hangs people from cranes in Iran.
Yep.
We warned you. Please do not let America be next.
Yeah. I have to agree with her. So what did you want, this JD Vance one?
Yeah, let's just, that might be an interesting one.
Let's see where it is. JD Vance calls on the DOJ to prosecute alleged fraud.
Yeah.
That one? Okay.
That
It's
one.
on the transgender stuff.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
something about transgender.
Right. Yeah, the surgeries. Yeah. You know what? That's the thing, man. Guys, tell me what you think. I think every doctor and hospital that allowed that shit to go on, where even if their parents said yes to do puberty blockers and things that would stay with them forever,
to a child,
to children, are you kidding me? And they allowed fact checkers. You know I'm right. And are you kidding me that they did all that? And now there's not going to be a reckoning? There has to be a reckoning. There has to be. You know? I gave you why there's still Islam. That's funny, man. Every time you put that up, I laugh.
Leave the kids alone.
Yeah, leave the freaking kids alone. Be a nut, do all you want, but leave the kids alone.
You know,
JD Vance.
The Who had it right. The Who said it. They're great poets.
Yeah.
What's his name who wrote most of the music? The Who. Oh God.
Townsend?
Pete Townsend. He's a great poet. And he said, leave the kids alone.
Yeah, leave the kids alone.
Yeah.
Leave those kids alone. Yeah.
Yep.
JD Vance calls on, well, you're thinking of Pink Floyd, aren't you? Hey, teacher, leave those kids alone.
Maybe I've got it wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Breaking the wall. Yeah.
The wall.
JD Vance calls on DOJ to prosecute alleged fraud in teen transgender treatment. I don't know if you guys over there have to do it, but we say alleged so we don't get sued. If you say alleged, you're not actually saying that it's true. You're not making you say alleged because we don't know. That's what you say. So the report alleges hospitals push gender dysphoria diagnoses on minors to file over $50 million in puberty blocker claims. Holy mackerel. Should we just watch this? How long is it? 3 minutes. Vice President J.D. Vance is calling for the DOJ to investigate a bombshell Health and Human Services report alleging some hospitals and healthcare providers fraudulently subjected children to lucrative sex change procedures. We all knew that was happening when we saw it. But we had a communist regime. I think they were communists. I do. I think they were they were literally building the camps. Do you know that? They actually started building them. And they were saying, oh, it's just for COVID people. You know, come on. The new report titled Wolves in White Coats, How Doctors and Hospitals Pushed and Profited from the Fraud of Gender Medicine, revealed more than $60 million in insurance claims for treatments, including puberty blockers for adolescents as young as 13, billed from 2015 to 2025. According to HHS, and the Trump administration is the only one that started going in there and saying, stop, don't do that. According to HHS, some providers aggressively treated children. Let me stop. Do you remember when conservatives in America tried to get laws that stopped it? And there were libnuts out there saying, why are you so cruel to these children? You're like, you're doing mutilation surgeries on these kids for something that they probably don't even understand because it's a fad. They want to be in on the in thing. And you're going to destroy their lives? Are you kidding me? We're the ones that are hating on kids? All right, start over. According to HHS, some providers aggressively treated children who presented with hormonal issues and endocrine system problems or early onset puberty with transgender care, billing insurance companies. HHS also blamed Biden-era policies promoting transgender treatments for expanding access gender surgery coverage. Wow. Fox obtained a letter from Vance to Attorney General Todd Blanche. And Todd Blanche, I'm telling you right now, this guy's going to be a great AG. He's already arresting everyone. He's charging everyone that needed to be charged. He's already doing. He's starting low, but he's got a lot of arrests and he's moving up. And what they do is they bring the little fries up and then they say, all right, rat on who's above you. And we'll give you a lighter sentence. But no one's getting away with it from what I understand. So a letter from Vance to Attorney General Todd Blanche, which detailed Vance's concerns surrounding the report and called for criminal prosecution of anyone who has intentionally misled children to get transgender treatment because it was all money for them. You got to wonder, other than queer theory, why, which has nothing to do with sexuality, why would the Biden administration push so hard for this? One study showed that only about 4.7% of patients diagnosed with endocrine disorder unspecified had that actual condition, Vance wrote in the letter to Blanche. Another notes a 30% increase in the number of endocrine disorder diagnoses, despite it being unlikely that there has been a substantial increase in pediatric endocrine disorders. Am I saying endocrine right, Dr. Jaden?
Endocrine, yes.
Thank you very much. All right. Thinking endocrine and endocrine. Okay. The average healthcare cost for a minor is roughly $3,000, but transgender treatments can push that to $75,000 without surgery and nearly $170,000 if surgery is involved, according to the report. I think you should only pay $170,000 for surgery to save your life. I don't think, oh man. The report also details how some healthcare providers profit from lifelong medical costs, including prescriptions, surgeries, and medical interventions years after a minor reaches adulthood. Yeah, because oh my God. Fauci and all them lied, saying, was it Fauci? I know these doctors lied and said, well, there's no permanent damage. Yeah, there was, and they knew it. If you're a doctor, I mean, come on, Jade. You're a doctor, you know putting puberty blockers in children that age, that could harm them for life.
Long ago, I did not know that. And I soon after found out the truth. It does potentially cause permanent damage.
Fact checkers, she's a medical doctor, retired. All right. About 225 hospitals and health systems across the country have established pediatric gender programs. Vance charged in his letter to Blanche that healthcare providers knowingly push their misdiagnoses to insurance companies using billing codes to compel coverage. When providers miscode treatment in order to secure insurance coverage for gender transitioning interventions that insurance would not otherwise cover, they should be held accountable, read Vance's letter. Yeah, if they have done so intentionally, thereby perpetrating a fraud on Medicaid or on private insurers, they should go to prison. Now, how many of these people are going to go to prison?
Yeah, my question is, where was your mind when you said penetrating? That's what.
Yeah, I know. I was like, penetrating. Where the fuck did that come from? All right.
Where did that come from?
Yeah, I have no idea. Thanks, Dr. Jade. Rather than allow the proliferation of harmful sex-rejecting procedures on our children, we must send a clear message that any hospitals and providers that have participated in these practices will face justice. The HHS report cited peer-reviewed scientific literature, hospital records, whistleblower testimony, nationwide insurance claims, analyses, and interviews with patients and parents. We don't need to read anymore. We know what
we get the idea.
Yeah, we get the idea. Let me do. Oh, there's just so much more.
Yeah, but we're done.
Well, maybe you are, but I may want to go further. There's a lot of good stuff that I have here. Let me pick one. What's going on this farm? Let's see. That's the first one. The story of every hardworking employee. Yeah, it's Josh Hawley again. We will not comply. Ooh, that's a good one. I want to hear that one. Okay.
Linda, what do you mean? Does that mean your sex tubes? What did I say?
What's that?
Oh, yeah. Linda says, does that mean your sex tubes?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not sure. What did I say that?
What happened to the College of Surgeons? Yeah. Small hats again. Pink Floyd, not the Who.
Yes,
yeah, okay,
thank you, Commander. That was a bubble in my brain. Roger Waters. Although Pete Townsend is also a great poet.
Yeah, well, I didn't know he was a poet. I know he's a guitarist and a singer, but
he writes.
He's not a very good guitarist, but he can write his ass off.
Yes,
that's what I always said about Townsend,
and that's what I call.
I used to like the Who. Yeah, I used to like.
I call that poetry. Pink Floyd was always just a little bit off the wall for me.
Yeah, your blood and your chromosomes. I had to go to one, and I learned that I had sleep apnea. That's how I learned that. Because I was gaining weight and I couldn't drop it no matter what I did.
Ah, okay.
And it was because the pituitary gland stops sending signals when you don't sleep the proper amount every night for a year. I was doing it for 20 years. Didn't know. Never knew. All right, let's see. Yeah. Which is the one? Damn it, I just had it.
And if this is what you were asking, Linda, endocrinology
we will
is,
not,
of course,
we will not comply.
do
That was it.
with all the hormones in your body.
Yeah. Here we go. Let's play this.
I don't know who in their right mind would ever vote for any mess like this. Could you imagine it being extremely hot and you not being able to adjust your thermostat because of climate change?
Yeah, bullshit.
Let me know what you think. Check it out.
My own thermostat was 79 and I wanted to put my daughter to bed, and it had a little warning that said, you are not allowed to lower your thermostat set point because the energy grid in your regional area is stressed. And I took a picture of it and I posted it on social media, and I was very annoyed because I was thinking, I understand why this is happening, but you know, the average consumer is just going to see you're not allowed to control your own air conditioner in your own house without a reason other than the energy grid is stressed. And B, there needs to be, you know, especially for sensitive communities, an easier opt-out feature. So I was able to find one, but I think there always needs to be an opt-out feature for infants, for elderly people, for people that have health conditions. It's literally not safe to have a utility not allow you to cool your or heat your house to a certain degree.
Right. I agree with her. I don't think, and you know what, they were going to do that when the lib nuts were in charge, and they were talking about these 15-minute cities. They were also talking about forcing homes to have these special thermostats that they control.
Well, they did that here in Colorado. They did that here in Colorado, but we were allowed to opt out, which we sure did in this house.
Yeah.
Yeah, they came around and they were putting in these special meters.
I think
we said no, thank you.
Yeah, I think American men are the ones that are the best ones. Did you ever see? Did you ever see on Family Guy?
Yeah, I don't watch that.
Oh, you
I don't watch TV.
All right, hold on.
I haven't watched TV since I'm like very young.
Let me see. I got to show you. You're going to laugh your ass off. And the guy. Here we go. Ready? Watch this.
Are you sure this isn't copyrighted?
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, no, there's no music in it, anything like that. So hold on. Let me bring this up. This is awesome. It's Family Guy. It's on YouTube. Ready? So here we go.
Mom, can I turn the heat up? Oh, don't touch the thermostat, Meg, if Father gets upset.
Come on, this thing goes up to 90.
Who touched your thermostat?
God, how does he always know?
Brain implant, Meg. Every father's got one. Tells you when the children are messing with the dial. Hey, Peter, my thing went off. Your thermostat okay? Yeah, it's all right.
Hey, is my kid over here?
Forget it. False alarm.
Isn't that great?
Okay. That was a bit funny.
Yeah, it's because that's how it is, man. Yeah, I don't watch TV anymore either. Well, I watch, let me see. I never watch it either, Dr. Jade.
Yeah, I just don't watch TV.
Yeah, I don't either. I watch certain shows when I have time, but it's all either it's on demand or, you know, I taped it, whatever. Yeah. Hey guys, do me a favor, hit that like button if you haven't already, because it really does help us. I appreciate you guys. Let me see how many we got so far. You guys, this is an indictment. Oh wow, we got 6 guys. Please hit the like button before you leave. Also, bring a friend next week. I hope that guy comes back.
Yeah, I hope he wasn't ticked off.
Yeah, he sounded like it, but you know what? I hope what was he saying? He was talking about the Palestinians and how they were being bulldozed and all that.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure where he was.
I had talked earlier they were being bulldozed because they wouldn't leave their homes where they left temporarily to genocide them. You know,
but yeah, we got a bunch of slackers out there, so please hit the like button.
Yeah, please hit that like button and watch the videos during the week if you can. I'm doing less videos during the week because my job temporarily. Yeah, I know you do, brother. You're solid, good man, or as you guys say, good lad. Yeah, I gotta step it up on my slang, my European slang.
Yeah, my job has been keeping me real busy too. Oh, wait a minute, no, that was 2 years ago.
Yeah, shut up. Anyway, yeah. Retired. Yeah, but retirement keeps you busy, right?
I've been pretty busy.
Yeah, I know. My old boss, she retired, and she's like, I've never been so busy. I'm like, shut up. So I can't wait to be that busy.
There you go.
All right, guys, thank you very much. You guys have a great weekend. We love you guys for being here. Thanks. We'll talk to you later. Take care.
Next week.
Yeah.
Bring a friend.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks.